He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, I got the bucket hat on.
Looking good,
in
man.
honor of training camp.
Looking good.
Got to protect yourself from the sun. And also a shameless plug for the Dream 18 coming up in about a month.
I like it, man.
Make sure you register actionsportsjack318.com.
No one on the stream can see your face.
Why? Because I'm
Because
covering?
of the hat.
That's probably a win.
That's okay. That's going to
okay.
be okay. People don't come for Brett Martineau's face.
You know what else
They
is-
come for his hair.
You know what else is difficult? Is headphones.
Yeah.
And by the way, I got my AirPods
Maybe
in,
headphones
too.
under the hat?
I got AirPods in. I got headphones on. I got a floppy bucket hat on.
Well, now, let's be
Watch
honest.
out now while you say that.
And in terms of a bucket hat, that is one of the most aggressive bucket hats I've ever seen. Like,
Oh, yeah?
That's like a full duty bucket hat.
Yeah.
Because usually they're a little like,
Yeah, they're tinier.
they're tinier, yeah.
Well, listen, man.
That's, I'm not, am I hating
Golf
on
in
it?
the sun.
Am I hating on it? I didn't say I'm hating
Is
on it.
that
I'm just
buttons on
saying
the side? You can button them up?
that's a
I'd
very
say the
aggressive
headphones might
bucket
work.
hat.
Now you got onto something, Coos. You can do it. We can go cowboy
Cowboy.
style here. We can go a little cowboy. Where's the other button?
Man.
Is that not good?
Hey, man, you just do you, dude. You know I'm not going to question anything you do. You're all good.
You're not going to question anything I do.
Yeah.
I feel
You're
like
all
you do
good.
question things he does.
I mean, I'll maybe point out some key
You want the
stuff
strap
here.
on too? Right there, little chin strap.
Let's go and put that chin strap on. Yeah, there we go. This guy's Outback ready. That's what you look like right now.
Little Outback
Yeah,
going, huh?
you look like the love child of like Crocodile Dundee, man. Absolutely. I like it, dude. Look good.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So a little. That's what we got, man. That's what I think of camp. I think of my bucket hat.
Yep.
So camp is on, and here we go. Let's play some football.
You know my question is going to be my first question of training camp.
Whose legs do you want to know about?
No. Well, yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, then
That's
you make me
weird.
sound a
Yep.
little suspicious. So let's go ahead and really get back to the bet here.
Doesn't have to be weird.
Who was wearing shorter shorts? Well, I made it weird. Who's wearing shorter shorts? Gardner Minshew, LaVisca Chenault.
Here's the thing. I did not notice Chenault in terms of the short shorts. You always notice Minshew.
Yeah.
But there are two other guys now that you're leaving out.
Well, I know who you're going first because
I mean,
people have tagged this person in my mentions.
Cassius Marsh.
Yeah.
Now, he's a different cat.
He is a different cat. Can't wait to get him on the show one day.
He looks like a fun guy.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a different cat now.
He is.
And I'll tell you the other guy that we don't talk about when we talk about the all leg game or short shorts game. And that is Taven Bryan.
Really?
Remember, Taven Bryan came out to camp as like a rookie, and he had that short shorts
Okay.
thing looking, but nobody really was that impressed with Taven Bryan. But he's still got the short shorts going. And there you go. That's your
Okay.
short shorts update.
Okay.
Here,
well, then I'm going to have to judge it on Friday then because my bet depends on this. My call of
I just feel
training
like
camp
don't
depends on
make it just Chenault
I
and
have
Minshew.
to. I have to, though, because, like, to me, Minshew was rocking the short ones last
Absolutely.
year. Yeah.
He's in the conversation.
And to me, like I said, if you squat 550 pounds and you're wide receiver, hey, show what you got.
Yeah, and listen, I think that's kind of what Taven Bryan decides to do, too.
Okay.
Because he's a big dude, athletic dude.
Sure.
And he's showing it off, what he does on the squat rack.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know. I know they're a little bit. I heard some attaboys for Taven Bryan.
There we go.
I'm going to start
Here we
the
go.
show with this.
Here we go. Taven Bryan All-Pro. Bring it on us. Let's go.
I don't know if I'm looking at him a little bit more, but I thought he looked in fantastic shape. He's always a big guy, but I thought he looked, maybe he was a little leaner, stronger, whatever it was.
Okay.
Maybe it was a little quicker. Maybe it's just like he's motivated. He should be.
Yeah.
He's going to live up to the first-round pick. He's going to play.
Big year for him.
He's an important part of that front right now, especially with the way they're banged up. Whatever it was, of the few observations you could make today, because it was basically like going to your local gym and watching the Jags workout. Like you may have seen more at your local gym.
Yeah.
There was a little friendly dodgeball with a medicine ball.
Oh, yeah.
There was hurtling.
Yep.
That was it. Okay, so let's not over-dramatize. Oh, my gosh, it was so great to be out there. And also, listen, it was what it was. It was good to be out there, fine. Would I rather played probably 9 holes? Probably. But it's good to kind of feel like football again. And I'm just not going to over-dramatize the observations. I'll thought Taven Bryan, Josh Allen, I noticed looking a little lean. And I don't say that in a bad way. I don't know if I say it in a good way either, because maybe he just had to, maybe he wanted to get a little bit better shape. Guys are never in their best shape in their rookie season because of what I always talk about. They haven't had time off. So it's hard to be in your best shape. I feel like he's put in some work and he looked better in a uniform. And I even said to someone, I was like, I'm not sure if that's because, does he look leaner to me? Because the last time I saw him, and a lot of times I saw him in the last, around a football field, was with pads on.
Well, that's what I was going to get at.
It might be, but a couple of folks also noticed.
Okay.
So leaner, not small, leaner. Josh Allen, and boy, does he look good. I mean, again, he jumps out at you. He's just such a specimen, man, and such a good athlete. He jumps out at me. So those are a couple of guys that I noticed just from a shape standpoint. Jags overall, I thought looked like they were in pretty good shape. You kind of wonder when they get back, right? I mean, you wonder how much weight do some of these guys have to lose? How much could they do it? Now, they've been back for a little bit. Some of the rookies been now going out there for a couple of weeks, the veterans for a week and a half. So that was it. Minshew threw the ball around. I'll say this about Minshew. A lot of people talking about today, asking about his speed and his in shape. I don't really notice a big difference there. I don't. I'm sure he does. He put a lot of work in. I'm just saying Minshew to me kind of still looks like Minshew. I didn't notice wow, he really put on 6 pounds of muscle. I could notice that on me. I don't really notice if it jumped out to me looking at Gardner Minshew, even though that's been a conversation piece this offseason.
Oh, it's been a huge conversation piece. And people love to say that stuff, right? Like, oh, this guy seems to add a couple of pounds of muscle. Like, remember when Leonard Fournette he dropped some weight 2 years ago, and everyone's saying it's the lightest he's been since high school.
That's right.
Get ready for the all-pro
we love
numbers.
That stuff this
hey,
time
fantasy football fans, first-round draft pick Leonard Fournette right there. And what happened? He probably had his worst season of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, listen, with Gardner Minshew at the quarterback position, quarterbacks come in all shapes and sizes, okay? You got your Ben Roethlisbergers, you got your Kyler Murrays, you got your Drew Brees, you got your Cam Newtons. I don't look at one guy and say, well, this guy's going to be a quarterback because of the way he looks, okay? It's not how the position works. All I'm concerned about right now with Gardner Minshew is, does he still have that arm mobility? Can he still chuck a football? And can he still make great decisions? If that's the case, then so be it. Now, obviously, he's got to clean up the mistakes a little bit. Sure, you can add some muscle on here or there. But let's be honest, man. You play the quarterback position. And if a 255-pound outside linebacker or edge rusher hits you, you're probably going to be hurt. Yeah. That's just the way that it is, man, okay?
Or it's going to hurt.
Or it's going to hurt. I always think of Cam Newton. I remember the first time I played against Cam Newton, saw him on the field, going to shake hands, when he was a captain and everything. I couldn't believe how big that guy was. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is stupid.
Yeah. I've seen him up close.
You're a defensive end, sir.
It's not a quarterback.
You're not a quarterback. What is going on here? The fix is in, let's just say. But guess what? Cam Newton's been hurt too. Now, yeah, he runs with the football and everything like that, and he, obviously
he embraces contact.
You embrace contact, but at the same time, Cam Newton, if any quarterback should have a healthy resume and a healthy career, look at Cam Newton. And the guy looks like he's made of steel, but he's been hurt as well.
Yeah, well, listen, I understand. I'm not dismissing what Minshew did. I'm just telling you from an observation point of view, 40 yards away on the football field. I was not wow. Where I did notice Josh Allen, I even think Taven Bryan. I'll tell you another one. Cam Robinson looks good. Again, we've seen a banged up, not healthy, not fully in football kind of shape Cam Robinson trying to make his way back from the ACL for 2 years. I mean, now he's a grown man, even more than he was a grown man, and now in good shape in a critical year. But I thought that was pretty noticeable, too. I mean, passed the look test. So, again, I don't want to dismiss what Minshew did. I think it's important. He wants to be strong in the pocket. He wants to be strong with the football. He wants to not turn that thing over, and that was an issue in his first part of last year especially. Sure. He wants to be a little quicker. He talks about speed. And there is a durability factor of playing with pain for the entire season in the NFL that it does not necessarily always correlate from the college game to the NFL game. So I get it. I understand. I think it's a great thing. And I'm glad that he feels that way. I'm just telling you, for me, I didn't jump out like, whoa, which is okay. I will tell you what jumps out at me about Minshew. And this is going to sound like a knock. I just think it shows the chip on this guy, the drive in this guy, the competitive nature of this guy. And listen, I embrace this stuff. I was not the biggest guy in the world. I got a 90-pound 15-year-old who I think's the best 90-pound baseball player in the country because he's probably one of the only ones. So a little biased. So I love that stuff. Yeah. And I think that adds something, man, that you can't when you like it just adds a little something. You can tell with Minshew. But if you look at the 4 quarterbacks on that roster, holy cow, does he look small.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Mike Glennon now.
Well, yeah.
6?
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And the Luton and Dobbs are kind of look like normal quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
It does jump out at you when you see it, even though you've already seen it. The size, he's what, 6 foot? I think Minshew is.
Minshew's, yeah.
Well, shade over 6 foot. Mm-hmm. He looks, based on the QB position, like he's 5'8".
Sure.
Like he really does.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to blast him here at all. I'm just telling you, that does jump out at you. Mm-hmm. And even Gruden mentioned it today. Jay Gruden said, hey, listen, he is not the biggest guy. He does not have a rocket arm. He acknowledged that, but he's got a savvy about him. He's got great anticipation, accuracy, and again, there's other things in there on Minshew that you can't teach. Mm-hmm. I just think it's such a compliment to him what he's done to put himself in position in 2020 to be the undeniable leader of this football team going forward. It's an amazing story. You have to remind yourself about it, and he's got the opportunity of a lifetime. He's got this Powerball ticket that we don't know how much it's worth, but you got to wait until like January to cash it in. Yeah. And it might be worth $1 or it might be worth $100 million. And he's walking around with it for the next 4 or 5 months. But he's put himself in position to have that lottery ticket in his back pocket. I don't think you can stress that story enough. Heck, once again, McShay or whoever today, first pick in next year's draft, the early mock draft, Trevor Lawrence, Jags, 2-14. Yeah. There's no faith in the guy. I love the story of Minshew, but you'd be lying to yourself if the first thing you don't notice out there amongst the 4 quarterbacks on that roster, like, he is kind of small.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, too, with the whole McShay thing, he may have some faith in Minshew, but there's no faith in the Jaguars this year.
That's true.
Obviously,
Yeah,
I think we can agree, regardless of how Minshew does this year, Brent, if the Jaguars win 2 games, they're going quarterback. I mean, you have to, because it's all about correlation.
Yeah.
Where if Minshew only wins 2 games,
it would be hard for Minshew to really look good and win 2 games.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
We'd be kidding ourselves if we said that. So anyway, it's a good day out there.
Yeah.
You'll go out there later in the week. I'll go back out there. I do say this, okay? And we're going to get into it a little bit, and we'll hear from Minshew, and we'll talk about some things that are going on with the Jags. Twofold. One, it's good to feel like there's football around the corner. Mm-hmm. This thing does not look like it's stopping. This is a train that is rolling along, and it's not off the tracks. As much as you hear about college football, the questions about it, as much as you hear about high school, the questions about it, the NFL, what they've done so far appears to be working, and it's on the right track. Now, we've got 4 weeks to get there to the destination, and that's just the beginning. But it's on the right track. Another thing, this thing will ramp up a bit next week. So when we go out to practice, you'll see a little bit more. The offense versus the defense, the one-on-ones, the phasing of this is so different. So, again, I tried to tell everybody, anyway, it kind of felt like an OTA or a walkthrough in a lot of sense. But it will ramp up early next week. And lastly, just because I think people do wonder, and this was our first chance to see it, I was not bothered a bit by the protocols in place. Listen, there can be cranky media folks.
Sure. Oh, who you telling, man? Have you been in a press box with the food sometimes?
I thought things went really smooth. I think the Jags handled it well. The NFL must be doing this all across the league, so they've handled it well. We did not have the contact tracing. That's not the level that we could be at. Like Stewart had one of those. It beeps if you get too close to somebody, and there's a contact tracing device. And he already had to do in the last week 2 COVID-19 tests in case they go inside to the flex field. So he did that, but we didn't because we were like, it's unnecessary for us to go in there. If we can't go into that practice, we just won't watch. And so they're trying to limit the amount of people. Didn't need to do that. But outside of that, we had to fill out a questionnaire. We got approved for it yesterday, and then the questionnaire this morning. You take a temperature check. You stand 6 feet apart. You wear your mask. Yep. They've got designations where to stand and watch. You could go on the bleachers if you want. I mean, I think the Jags did a good job with that. I don't know from their end if it was as seamless as it felt from our end or my end, but it wasn't bad at all. Yeah. And it looks like everybody's it looks like the norm, which is wild. That it already, for the players and the coaches, looks normal. I understand for us it wasn't. It was a little different. But for the players and coaches, it didn't look like they were bothered by any of it.
Were the coaches wearing masks too then everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Most of the time, Coach Milo, when he was getting everybody going, he would be all by himself in the center of the field, so he might pull it down and shout to everybody to hear. But, masks everywhere. Again, they've sprayed everything down right after practice as we were leaving. Typical protocols, I guess, that we're all kind of used to now.
Correct.
But to see it out on the football field in the practice, and it didn't feel that bad. Like, I guess we're all accustomed to the new norm in a way. Yeah. Maybe that's really the moral of that story. But it definitely is a part of the story to see how that part of it unfolds. All right, we'll talk more Jags about on the field. Minshew talks, Jay Gruden talks. I have a hard time when I listen to Jay Gruden talk.
Yeah.
I hear John Gruden. Yeah. I hear Frank Caliendo. Have you ever done that with guys? Like, did you ever get to the point, like, maybe it's Trump now, but I don't watch Saturday Night Live or enough or whatever it is. Are they even doing Saturday Night Live now?
Well, not right now. It's
because of the pandemic?
No, they're doing it because of the pandemic, but it's just they're off season now. Yeah.
But let's just go back to, like, Clinton or Bush.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And, when they would do those guys on Saturday Night Live, every time I would watch them talk in person, I would relate to the Saturday Night Live skit.
For sure, sure. Yep.
Well, I'm like that with the Grudens. Like, I go to Caliendo.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. I'm listening to him talk in the news conference today, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who is it? Yeah. He sounds obviously just like John.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it sounds just like Frank Caliendo.
Did you watch Hard Knocks last night?
I did.
Did you see Sean McVay sounds a lot like Gruden as well?
He does.
Sean McVay uses like the same mannerisms
and
then the same tone as John Gruden.
Like the same cadence, right?
Yeah, yep. Exactly. It's crazy,
How
man.
about ESPN going after him for a Monday Night Football game, too?
Right.
Wow, interesting stuff. We'll talk a little bit about Hard Knocks. Jalen Ramsey, I miss you. That's coming up as well. But let's start with the Jags. The latest on college football, young football teams, and youth in sports. Why does it matter if the Jags are young? We got that on the docket as well. Thanks for hanging with us on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Heavy storms will be diminishing and becoming mostly light rain and showers through this evening before ending, and then some fog after midnight, dropping into the low to mid-70s. Partly cloudy, heavy afternoon storms return for Thursday with a high of 91, and Friday partly sunny, scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms, and a high of 92. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
My community means everything to me. That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that helped me succeed. The training and leadership skills I get from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people and look out for my community. If you'd like to learn how you too can serve part-time in the community you love, visit nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
There's a new, modern, patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care and patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge. We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
Time for more summer savings.
No other jeweler in North Florida can beat Beard's Diamonds. They have the largest selection and the lowest prices. And now with their 5-year zero-interest financing, you can go even bigger.
Yes, save on everything. Rings, earrings, bracelets, pendants, wedding bands, all designer jewelry, all colored gemstone pieces, and all diamonds. 5 years, zero interest, and no money down.
It's a great time to splurge on that $12,000 3-stone ring and pay just $200 a month.
Impress her with a bigger diamond engagement ring, a $6,000 setting from just $100 a month.
Or how about $3,000 diamond stud earrings, only $50 a month.
Get the absolute lowest prices Beards is known for. Then spread your payments out over 60 months with absolutely no interest and nothing down.
Beards Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Come in. See the difference. Save thousands.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping, with a laser focus on celebrating your special moments. Every associate, every receptionist, every jewelry craftsman, every single person at Diamonds Direct shares this DNA, this overwhelming desire to exceed your expectations, to honor your trust, to revel in your moment, to make your experience truly magical. This is not a mission statement written on our wall. This is the essence of who we are. It's what drives us every day. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion, for real.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. Star Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by **, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing ** mobile from your mobile phone. That's ** mobile. When prospective customers see your offline or online ad and they dial your branded ** mobile number, ** mobile helps to convert them through text, voice, and online communications. Give it a try now by dialing ** mobile from your mobile phone. That's ** mobile.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. I don't know about you, but I just want to get in the car and drive somewhere. Windows down, radio playing, exploring some 2-lane back roads. It's like a mini vacation. So I say, get in your new Chevy and go. Huh? You don't have a new Chevy? Well, we can fix that. Like a new Equinox. Right now, the factory says take 15% off, but we can do up to 5 better. That's right, up to 20% off, or choose a discount and 0% for up to 84 months. Only at Gordon Chevy in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Mortgage rates are at historic all-time lows. There's no better time. Duval! Purchase your first home or refinance with Crossview Mortgage. At Crossview, they have a proven track record with VA loans and helping people even when the big banks can't. Get pre-qualified. Do your application by phone in minutes. Let them help you save thousands. Call Crossview Mortgage, 325-9008. That's 325-9008. CrossviewMortgage.com. NMLS number 1377291.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home or just steering clear of coworkers, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I think the big thing so far is, clean up a few things technique-wise with drill work with Coach McAdoo. He's bringing in a lot of experience, worked with a lot of really good guys. So all the quarterbacks were just eager to learn from him. And then I think once getting in the offense, it's all about communication. Whether it's at the line and the huddle, just making sure everybody knows their job, and all the quarterbacks are doing a good job of getting everybody where they need to go.
If there's a guy that knows how to answer the question or knows what the answer to the question is when it comes to learning a new offense,
yeah,
it is definitely Gardner Minshew.
It's a dude right there,
I
man.
mean, the guy has learned at least 6 new offenses since he was in, counting high school, probably, in the last 7 or 8 years. I mean, it's unbelievable. Talk about terminology.
Yeah.
But he's a bright guy. We've talked about that in the past. Jay Gruden, you'll hear from him a little bit later, said, hey, he's really spitting that thing out good. Now he's just got to go try to execute all of it, and that's sandwiched in time. But, I sense no panic by the Jags, whether it's Minshew with a young football team, learning the new offense, or even Gruden today talking about, oh, my gosh, we got to do this in a hurry. We're days away. I think that's the beauty of no preseason games. If there were preseason games, I'd feel like just because there's a game, they would feel a little more pressed for time. It made so much sense not having preseason games. I know you don't love it because it takes opportunity away. Can you imagine right now, they haven't even had a full practice.
No, I hear you.
Can you imagine sneaking 2 preseason games in between now and the start of the season? They have not even had a regular practice, and it's August 12th.
Listen, I understand that, and I get, obviously, player safety is the number one priority, and if you trot guys out there a little too soon, not having been acclimated with wearing pads and things like that, you're doing your team a disservice by getting them hurt. Yeah, I mean, I completely understand that, but once again, you know exactly how I feel, Brent. I feel like in order to gauge who belongs on your team and who doesn't, especially such a young team, you need those preseason games, okay? So to me, there's no difference between a preseason game and a super hard practice where you hit and go live, because if you're Doug Marrone right now, I feel like you have to. I feel like you have to have some sort of live periods just to see who wants to hit people and who doesn't, like who belongs on this new team and who doesn't. So I get what you're saying, and I get where you're going with it, but at the same time, is it really that different if you trot guys out there in a live practice as opposed to a preseason game? And keep in mind, preseason game, you're going to rotate guys in. Guys maybe get 15 to 20 reps, and you rotate them in, and obviously the starters probably wouldn't get that many reps anyways.
Yeah, interesting. That is... I'll be able to answer that question a little bit more when I see some ramped up practices.
Correct.
Right? And what that does look like. Because we just don't know how far the Jags are going to take it, how much to the edge, how much that it will look like a preseason games, even if it's a few reps, few series, whatever it might be. And that'll be, that's going to be a fingers crossed kind of moment for a coach all across the league. But for a coach, that's fingers crossed, no doubt about it. So anyway, if you're just jumping in, Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here on a Wednesday. Got a little fired up, a little pep in all of our steps, I think, because I'm telling you this. The question of the last few months, are we going to have football? Are we going to have baseball? Are we going to have golf? Are we going to play sports? All this stuff. I can sit here today and still... I have no idea. In fact, they're just coming out with some more information, I think, a recommendation to move high school football back again. There's a big meeting coming up on Friday. But college football, we know the Big Ten and Pac-12 are done. I can't tell you we're going to get to September 26th, which is like this new date for other conferences, but the SEC has been leaning toward anyway. That's a long way away. I don't know. I feel like they will, but now that the Big Ten and Pac-12 aren't, I don't know if they're going to hit the go button on that when we get to the 26th. I'm telling you this. I have full faith, and this might be so naive and dumb on my part. I think the NFL season is happening. I really believe it's happening. We're a month away. If you were a month away from baseball season before that kicked off in middle to late July, you're still kind of like, I don't know. You still kind of wondered even how these bubbles going to work now that we've seen it. Okay, pretty good in the NBA and now NHL. I'm telling you, the protocols they've put in place, even though folks end up on the COVID-19 list, it looks like there's a lot of buy-in across the NFL, not just here in Jacksonville. The comfortability it looks like after seeing that out there today and kind of what it looks like, there's not a doubt in my mind we're playing football in September. The next question becomes, can they make it all the way through the season? Fair question, but I will stay consistent with what I've said. Major League Baseball, they've basically said, hey, Marlins, try to catch up. Hey, Cardinals, try to catch up. I think when professional leagues begin the season, they ain't stopping them.
No,
they're going to get to the finish line.
Listen, I agree with you. I think that if the NFL makes it to week 1, then yes, there will be football. But let's keep in mind what's happened up until now, Brent. We're talking about NFL teams starting training camp right now, having some of their very first practices, and essentially this is the first time that 80 or 90 players had been around each other, since last December for some teams. Okay, so it's easy to say right now, day one, oh, everything looks good, the protocols are working. Well, yeah, they're working the first day. Let's give it a week. Let's give it 10 days when guys go home and maybe venture out. Let's see what it looks like after a couple weeks or so, and let's see if it's going to work or not. Like, to me, that's going to be the telling point. Now, once again, if you can kind of go off without a shtick here and, maybe a couple guys here or there get COVID, but you don't have a pandemic like you did in Miami, well, then you're good to go. And then bring on the regular season. But I'm just saying we still have a couple more weeks to see if this thing's going to properly shake out or not.
Well, the scary information for the college folks, at least according to them and reports, was the heart condition. We have had players test positive, we would think. It's a hard distinction to make, but players have tested positive. We now know 3 coaches, based off Hard Knocks, have tested positive. Doug Peterson, Sean Payton, and now Anthony Lynn.
Correct.
So I think the big win right now in professional sports outside of this, and it's a big asterisk now. We just don't know. We don't have enough information. But outside of the heart condition stuff and where that leads is the fact that there have not been folks put in ICU and hospitalized and once they've been tested positive for COVID-19. Will we get that? I don't know. But I think it's a good sign so far that they've been able to recover, get off that list, get back on the field to some degree. Now, we don't know all the details. People may have had a lot more problems than we know right now. So in fairness to that, but publicly what we know, we haven't seen anything like that yet in the NFL. And really across the board, even though there's all these positive tests for the Cardinals and the Marlins, we haven't had anything like that jump out and scare the heck out of professional sports just yet.
Let me ask you this. I think we're on the same page right now where we feel like if they do make it to the regular season, they're good to go, okay? And I feel like if you do have a problem like the Marlins did, it's going to be the same initiative. It's going to be like, all right, well, try to keep up with us. But let's keep in mind, Brent, this isn't baseball we're talking about. This isn't, you can play back-to-back. Yeah. You can play doubleheaders. This is the sport of football where you need at least 5-6 days of rest or, or of just kind of to taper off a little bit to prep for a game. You can't go back-to-back days with football games here. So when we talk about player safety and things like that, what is this going to look like if a football team misses 2 weeks straight, Brent? I mean, are we talking like, make it up in the back end? Or are you at risk of maybe just taking an L and saying, all right, well, you lost this game?
Well, I think I don't think there's judgment on that yet.
Sure.
I don't believe. But I think we could get to a point, if that is the case, where especially 1 or 2 teams are highly impacted and cannot play, although there's extra practice squad members now. And sure, you might not be as good as you thought you might be going to that game, but you might still be able to play with transactions and all this other stuff. But to your point, if there's something drastic, then I think we'll end up going to a system of winning percentage, which is what we're going to get in Major League Baseball, it looks like anyway. There will be a barometer, I would assume, of amount of games, a threshold. But then after that, it could be like the ACC has already said, right, they're going to do winning percentage. And I think partly the reasoning for that is, what if one team plays 8 games and one team plays 9? or 10. So now we'll go winning percentage on that. So that's way down the road. It's maybe a month down the road, but we'll see. It's a good question.
Well, and listen, they have to be ahead of this, right? They have to be ready for those kind of situations. Let's hope
they've asked the same question you just asked.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we are wondering what questions were asked and answered about college football in the last week and really the last few months because it looked a little disjointed over the last week. So it's fair to wonder. NFL looks like they are way more on top of it, though, and in line. And you know what? That's because, in this sense, you have a commissioner and a PA. Yeah. So you have two sides that can hammer these things out. You don't have that in college. In fact, you have no idea what the structure in college is because the NCAA, the presidents, the AD, the head coach, then the players.
Yeah.
That's one of the big problems. I was talking to someone out there today. It really is one of the big problems. You have no
one's on the same page.
You can't discern that stuff and come together to make decisions that are in the best interest of everybody. It might take a little while to iron them out, but Major League Baseball did it.
Yep.
The NFL did it to get to this point. And speaking of, there's new information out today. Tom Pelissero just tweeting this out, and I think it came out a couple hours ago. But the NFL told clubs today the positivity rate of COVID-19 tests among all players and other Tier 1 and Tier 2 personnel through the first 2 weeks of training camp has been less than 1%. But daily testing will continue until further notice. Remember they said if it was under 5%, they would go every other day? Well, the NFL and the NFLPA just this afternoon agreed, at least announced it this afternoon, that they will continue to do daily testing until September 5th. Great buy-in from the PA, right? Great buy-in from everybody involved to say, you know what? Yeah, we said that, but let's stay on this thing. Let's continue to go every single day, which obviously costs more money for the ownership.
But let's be honest, money's not the issue here.
Money's not the issue.
Yeah.
But I think it says a lot about the players and their buy-in to get it done.
Well, I mean, you have to, once again, you can't do things stuck in the ground. There has to be some kind of meeting halfway. And this is an example right now of meeting halfway. I think obviously we want to compare it to college football, the Big Ten and the Pac-12. I don't think sides were willing to meet halfway. Now, whether that was a lack of a players union, whether it was maybe the selfishness of presidents, whatever you want to call it, they didn't meet halfway, and now they're not going to have a season in the fall. So it's good that there is some communication, obviously. I always stress that, and that they're willing to find some kind of common ground here and trying to play out the whole season.
Yeah, so I think that says a lot about what they're trying to do to get to a season. So give everybody credit in the NFL from that standpoint. All right, Gardner Minshew he talked today. Jay Gruden talked today as well. We're leaving one guy out probably, and I've actually a couple of times I've asked about Minshew to some folks, and I've continued to say, and I've said this for a long time, I love the idea of Minshew and Gruden. I just feel like there's a fit there, and that's a guess on my part because I don't know Jay Gruden enough. I feel like I could at least know Minshew enough to make an educated guess.
You've been in his house, Brent. You better know him.
So I think I do feel that though, and when I say that. Some folks are like, and don't forget McAdoo.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I don't see that. Like, Ben McAdoo, to me, like, Gruden has, like, this cool... part of the reason I say it is, like, a cool side of Gruden, it feels like. Right?
Sure. Yeah, I got that.
And with all due respect to Ben McAdoo, I just don't know him, haven't been around him, haven't really heard a lot from him. Failed in New York, but he's been around Aaron Rodgers and Eli Manning and these guys, so that's great. I'm just saying I don't have a feel for him, and so I don't know where he kind of fits in that kind of the cool kids club of Minshew and Gruden.
To basically sum this up, I think you're getting at, like, listen, Jay Gruden has that vibe that he's kind of a player's coach, right? Like, you can joke around with Jay Gruden. Obviously, he's got a personality, a lot like John. We've seen a lot more of John, but they kind of share the same characteristics, right? With McAdoo, we don't really know much about him. Obviously, a head coach of the Giants, but he seems a little more kind of business-oriented, right? A little more the East Coast.
Serious.
Yeah, kind of, to take no foolishness kind of coach.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
I think so. But I'm just sharing that when I've said that, like, don't forget about McAdoo, I feel like there's a good relationship here with all these guys. And, he's a QB coach. So that's important, too. We'll hear from Jay Gruden coming up, but Again, I find reason to get excited about their offense way more than others do. And by the way, that is nothing from what I saw today. I mean, we saw a forward pass or two, and that's about it.
For sure.
So that's not like, oh my gosh, here it goes, Brent.
We got Chris Conley, Nick Foles hooking up every single day. Let's go.
I think I've just been pretty consistent with that, with what they've got, from young talent to some proven talent, to a quarterback that I like more than others like, to players playing for a lot like Fournette and Dede and Cam Robinson, to players that are still trying to prove a lot and prove their worth, like even an Andrew Norwell or A.J. Cann and Minshew. So I like all this stuff, and then you add in guys that have done it before with quality players at a high level and had success in McAdoo and Gruden.
Yeah.
I just can't find the just absurd amount of failure that other people want to find in their offense. I'm strictly talking about that right now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, it has to be a cohesive unit, and it has to run like a finely tuned motor. Now, you have all the parts there, and the parts look fantastic. Can they gel? Can they get along? Time will tell. But you want to talk about, obviously the players have a lot to play for. Well, so do the coaches, okay? Because we have Ben McAdoo right now. Keep in mind, former head coach of the New York Giants, has had a fall from grace and is now a quarterback's coach. You think Ben McAdoo is satisfied as being a quarterback's coach? No, man. He wants to be an offensive coordinator and work his way probably to be another head coach someplace else once again. Well, how do you do that? You have success with the position that you coach. And most importantly, that's Gardner Minshew, and that's the quarterbacks. Listen, no one's giving Gardner Minshew a chance right now outside of basically me, you, and some other, probably, I'm sure, the local, media probably here, and maybe like one or two sprinkled in on the national media, but no one's really giving Gardner Minshew a chance. What better trait to put on your resume right now and say, you know what? I coached Gardner Minshew to an 8-8 season. I coached Gardner Minshew to a Pro Bowl. Check me out, send him my resume, and you're probably going to get an upgrade, maybe an offensive coordinator spot someplace else. So McAdoo has that going for him. Obviously, if you're Gruden right now, I'm sure he's got aspirations to be, once again, a head coach someplace, if it's not here, right? So, once again, you come into a situation right now with Gardner Minshew, with a very young team, the youngest in the NFL. If you have success here, who knows what happens to Gruden? So, I get what you're saying. The players, a lot to play for, also the coaches as well.
Well, I like where you went there, and I want to come back to that when we come back. A quick thought on the coaching, because this crossed my mind when I was out there today. I'll share it with you, and I think there's a lot on the coaches here.
Yeah.
A lot. I think you just brought up a very good point. And we talk about players in their contract years. Every coach on this staff right now is in a contract year. We know that. Front office might be too, but we know the coaches are. And it's fascinating. I'm going to point out a couple of guys that will directly reflect or could reflect on the coaching staff. Coming up next, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Jump in on the conversation. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Also on Twitch. You can join us there, or you can give us a call, 904-362-9901, *690. Phone line's always open here on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690, the home of the Florida State Seminoles in Jacksonville.
Duke goes down to defeat Florida State 79. Duke 74.
Basket lays. Oh, it drops. It drops with 1.8 seconds to go. Here's the snap. Winston rolling right. Close to pass on the other. It's caught. It's caught. It's caught.
You'll hear Noles football and men's basketball right here on ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio and the Florida State Seminoles. You ready for some good news? No, make that great news. You know that new Toyota you've been wanting? It's as good as yours thanks to the huge savings going on now at Arlington Toyota. Every new Toyota Arlington's got is on sale. In fact, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. Want to drive away in a new Toyota with no payments? Right now at Arlington, you can. Get no payments for 90 days on your new Toyota purchase. Every single day at Arlington, you're going to have over 750 new and quality pre-owned to choose from on the lot, ready for you to drive home today. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a nationwide lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. But wait, there's more. It's time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington. Wait no more. Now's the time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August savings screens for full details. Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233. Florida children are eligible for head-to-toe coverage through the Florida Kid Care Program, which is high-quality, affordable health and dental coverage with cost as low as $15 a month. To assist families applying for Florida Kid Care or Medicaid and increase enrollment in the Florida Kid Care Program, the Player Center for Child Health with Wolfson Children's Hospital offers free application assistance. For appointments, call 904-202-WELL. That's 904-202-9355. Habla Español.
This following message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and its radio station.
This is Craig Fugate, the former director of Florida Emergency Management. In this time of COVID, you need to update your hurricane preparedness plan. That means knowing what evacuation zone you live in, and in order to leave, you need to go. Take your pets and stay with family or friends, or at an inland hotel. Shelters are another option. Know your zone, know your home. For more information, go to floridastorms.org. That's floridastorms.org.
Hi, I'm Hunt Hawkins, CEO of Steinmart and chair of the 2020 First Coast Heart Walk. The 2020 Heart Walk is going virtual, and while we might not be able to meet in person, we still need you to support the American Heart Association's mission of being a force for a world of longer, healthier lives. Register and start a fundraising team today at firstcoastheartwalk.org, and then make plans to join us on Saturday, September 12th to Heart Walk where you are. Let's make a difference in the fight against heart disease and stroke. Register today at firstcoastheartwalk.org.
Locally sponsored by Steinmart, Florida Blue, and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. The Jags have 2 opt-outs. How big are these losses in your opinion?
Lorente McCray is different to me. This is a guy who's going on a 7th season here in the NFL. If you have the honor to wear the C in that locker room, it means that you're a leader. You have some sort of influence on that team.
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. All you got to do is say Amazon Echo, Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy that succulent sports coverage.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and in the iHeartRadio app.
As a player, I know he's a powerful guy with a lot of speed. I did a lot of work on him coming out of LSU, and obviously his statistics and his durability, everything was status quo. He's a great player, you know, and everything you've seen on tape with Jacksonville, his production last year was excellent. And so far, so good, man. He's been working hard. He's learning our new system, and I'm excited to work with him.
That is Jay Gruden, the new Jags offensive coordinator. Or was it John?
I'll tell you what, man.
Or was it Frank Caliendo?
I'll tell you what, man. Watch a lot of film on him, man.
You know, I don't know Jay Gruden, so I almost feel a little odd saying it like this and kind of presenting like that because he might hate it. Like if I'm always being compared to my brother or some guy who impersonates, I'm not sure I'd like it.
Yeah.
And he might be tired of it.
I mean, you might be tired of it, but you understand. I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, you can't, listen, you have to be that self-aware where you know what's up. So I don't think he's that tired of it, bro.
Yeah, we're going to try. I don't know if Koo's going to be able to pull it off. We'll see. If we don't do it today, we'll do it like tomorrow or something. But I want Koos to play some sound from Jay Gruden, John Gruden, and Frank Caliendo, and we have to figure out which one is which.
Guess that Gruden.
Very good.
There we go.
I didn't sum it up as succinctly as you did.
Oh, you're good, man. Nice word, by the way.
Well, that's succinctly coming off your promo there where you say succulent.
Succulent. Yes, yeah.
All right, we got a few minutes in this segment. In a bit, I'm going to talk about youth in sports, and I'm going to relate it to the Jags in a positive way because I wore a bucket hat today and I'm sunshine and rainbows on some football happening here in Jacksonville. But you brought up a great point. Jay Gruden, Ben McAdoo have a lot to gain. Let's leave Doug Marrone out of this. Doug Marrone's a head coach. Of course, he has a lot to gain. It's a couple $1 million job. I mean, it'd be nice to be around here for a long time if you do. Everybody knows that. But not too many people think of the other coaches. And they might think of Todd Wash and usually the offensive coordinator. But Jay Gruden and Ben McAdoo potentially have another, if they do well with this situation, that's going to that's going to get some people's attention across the National Football League. Fair enough. When I was out there today, I thought about that kind of thing, not as it was relative so much to McAdoo and Gruden, although what you said makes perfect sense, especially if they get Minshew to play well. Kind of like what you said about Nathaniel Hackett with Bortles. Yep. Nobody's high on Bortles. He gets him to play well, man. That's going to be a good sign for him. Yeah. Well, he did for a bit, and then it kind of knocked down. He got fired, and then, you end up in Green Bay. Not a bad situation.
Yeah, have fun with Aaron. And now Jordan.
But I was thinking of this on a couple of guys, okay? So hear me out.
Okay.
I watched Taven Bryan a bit, and I'm like, whoa, Taven Bryan's going to get a chance here. People have already canceled Taven Bryan. It's a bad pick, bust. Meanwhile, inside the building, they still say, we see some good things out of him. Heck of an athlete. If he performs, all of a sudden, Todd Wash, the D-line coach, should get a lot of praise out of that, right? Isn't that like, hey, they coached him up. They developed him. That's what you do in coaching is you try to develop, whether you're at the high school level, the college level where you recruit a kid. You can't just say, kid's 5-star, go play, and, oh, man, we're golden. You got to coach that dude up. I mean, that's part of the profession. We don't talk about it a lot on sports radio, but it's part of the profession. The Jaguars, I mean, I can make the case that Warhop and Marrone have done a nice job with A.J. Cann. Got a lot out of Cann last year. Where it was the platoon situation they put him in.
Where was he? What was the situation again? Where was he drafted?
Well, Cann's a former 4th-round pick, I want to say.
Okay.
But a lot of people thought he was out of here. They re-signed him, saw enough good in him, and then last year I think he probably had his best year.
Sure.
Now, he split some time, but he has his best year. If Cam Robinson performs, don't you have to tip your cap to the coaching staff? Warhop again on that offensive line. DJ Chark, from year 1 to year 2, now we said this before, maybe the biggest star on this staff could be Keenan McCardell.
Correct.
McCardell, I think, has a chance to be a head coach sooner than later. You don't just go from wide receiver coach to head coach often, but I tell you what, man, I think he could be on his way.
Well, and keep in mind, a head coach, one of your biggest MOs, elevating talent. Taking talent where it's at and taking it to a new threshold. Obviously, the Jaguars wide receivers right now, from what we've seen, especially from DJ Chark, we'll see this year with Chenault, Chark, and Westbrook. I mean, say no more.
Yeah, and Westbrook could factor in. I'm going to leave Chenault out of this because he's such a young guy. But I think if DJ Chark becomes like a bona fide one guy and takes another step this year, the credit to McCardell should be big. The credit, if Minshew plays well, should be Gruden, McAdoo, those guys.
Correct.
The credit, if Cam Robinson has a great year, Cann continues to develop, Jawan Taylor continues to develop, they should go to Warhop in some way. If Taven Bryan finds it and becomes the guy they think he is because he's so athletic and the guy that nobody else really thinks he is, I think Wash and those guys deserve credit for coaching him up.
Well, no, you're absolutely, this is where my mind's going now because I'm trying to put my mind in that of a Jaguars fan, right? And it's funny how this shakes up, right? Because right now, how does the Jaguars fan base, would you say, how do they feel about Taven Bryan?
It's done. Bust.
Correct. Why do you think so? Because he was taken the first round, right?
Absolutely.
If Taven Bryan was taken in the 4th, 5th round, we'd be like, it is what it is, fine.
A little more patient, but I wouldn't be talking about him. Kind of like Smoot.
Exactly. But he's a first-round pick. Yannick Ngakoue, 3rd-round pick, right? I think that goes more on the coaching. It's like, wow, they really brought him up and developed him.
Well, found him.
But here's my point, though, Brandon. Here's what I'm trying to say. When you have Dave Caldwell, the GM, and you bring in like a DJ Chark, you bring in like a Yannick Ngakoue, not really first-round guys, but still pretty high-taking guys, it's like, well, they developed them into fine players. When you bring in first-round picks or high second-round picks, well, then it's like, oh, well, the GM misfired. It's not the coach's fault that they didn't develop them, right? So, and I'm not saying that's the right thing. That's not the right thing to say. But I'm just saying that's what people think when we talk about, well, first-round busts compared to maybe bringing a fourth or fifth rounder in who you're trying to develop.
Yeah, what's the point of the conversation for me? The point is, we talk about Cam Robinson and Minshew and Fournette and all these guys having a lot to play for this year. This coaching staff has a ton to play for. And keep in mind, the barometer is low. The expectation is low. They don't need to go to the playoffs and win a Super Bowl to be considered a success.
Yeah.
At least internally.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually in a wonderful spot in a weird way.
You're not lying. I mean, listen, for zero expectations this season, they're in a pretty good spot.
All right. Youth is a big part of the Jags. Why that could be an advantage. Next on ESPN 690. Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia. I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Work at home. Work out at home. Second period math at home. Date night at home. Lately, we're doing a lot more at home, which means we're doing a lot less driving. With pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate, you get the same reliable coverage you'd expect, but only pay for the miles you drive. Drive less, save more with Allstate. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote.
Price based on driving behaviors and includes a daily rate subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby today explaining the conference's decision to proceed with fall sports amid the pandemic, said the league was comfortable moving forward because its medical professionals have not indicated it's unsafe to do so. The ACC and SEC have made similar decisions. Bowlesby also said the conference will stop if doctors say they should. College football may start, but it's hard to imagine a fall season finishes, says ESPN's Paul Feinbaum.
I know you're supposed to give the optimistic view here when you're in my seat. Yesterday was a seismic shift in the sport. And it may last a little bit longer, but it's hard for me to believe that we're going to make it very far.
Paul Feinbaum on ESPN Radio Morning. Ohio State football coach Ryan Day focused on spring football and getting his team on the field as quickly as possible. Thinks the conference could begin play in early January and end before the NFL draft, even with postseason play. That would allow NFL prospects like OSU quarterback Justin Fields to play the season in college.
Brought to you by Cooper Tires. Go with great tires that do what tires should do and cost what tires should cost. Go with the Coopers.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Look, guys, I haven't had the wings at Magic City.
You've heard him on First Take, and now you get even more Max.
We can make a joke about it and all this. He's out for his grandfather's funeral, right? That's like a real reason to leave the bubble. But there's a reason the NBA's got a fighting chance, and a good one, to actually crown a champion. And then when you're gone, just don't do it, or they're going to jeopardize their season.
The Max Kellerman Show, August 17th at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
You know, every student athlete that we have here came to be able to play the game at an elite level, but also to get an incredible education. And you know, within this family, we are bringing that all-inclusive approach. And the growth that I've seen from this team it's been truly special. And you know, that's what to be able to respond to some of the adversity that has shown up, to be able to follow protocols, to be able to sacrifice some of the things that you know, you might desire to do at times, to make sure that we're doing things the right way, to be able to provide that opportunity. It's been a true joy to watch.
That is Mike Norvell, Florida State head football coach. You know, we were talking about cliches in sports last week, I think it was. I kind of feel like this adversity of COVID-19 will be kind of like a cliche. And no knock on the listen, what else you going to say?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, is that tangible enough for me? It's tangible on the interior. It's a big thing. You've been a part of this stuff, this kind of stuff. If you're building culture, those things are important. Just don't think it's valued as much outside.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, great. You know, I've heard 4,500 teams around the country say that, and half of them are going to go 3-7.
Yeah.
So, again, it's not a knock on him. I think it is important internally for the culture part of it to see that, and especially, by the way, for Norvell and Florida State, because of how they got off on the wrong foot with Marvin Wilson and others, and to kind of rally and collect that and now be moving forward still. How important do you think it is for Florida State to play this year in year one? Would it be damaging if right now Florida State was part of the Big Ten and Pac-12 and not playing? Now, listen, the ACC could decide not to play. But right now they're saying, hey, game on, we're rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
How if some play and some don't, how important is it that Florida State and Norvell, being in year one, are in the some play category?
See, I think, and there's two theories here, right? You can say, well, he's still trying to build this culture. He hasn't had a lot of time, so you don't want Florida State to play because you want more time. You want to give them confidence, so week one they come out, you know what to expect of them. That's the one school of thought. The other side is saying, well, listen, this is kind of, I don't want to say it's a throwaway season, but this season is different. Everyone's kind of at the same advantage right now. Yes, you have a brand new head coach and everything, and yes, that's COVID-19, but you still want to go out there and see where you're at. I'm from the latter, Brent. I truly believe with Mike Norvell coming in here, this is, well, I've said this before about Wilson, this is the bridge season, okay? Wilson's a bridge player, and this is a bridge season where out with the old and in with the new. Now, yeah, maybe you're not going to have quite possibly your best offense out there. You're not going to have all your players out there, but you can start to ingrain some of the beliefs and some of the culture in what you want to see. And when you plant those seeds this season, well, then you go to next season and the following season, and you grow it into what you want. So I think this season, from a cultivating standpoint, from a planting your seed standpoint, you want to see guys play the game, and you want to see how guys are reacting to what you have to say.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the confusion part, at least from the outside. Maybe there's more of a feel inside, and if you put a lie detector test on it a couple years ago, folks would have rolled their eyes at it. Who knows? But I'm going to take you back to Willie Taggart, and if this was happening in the Willie Taggart era, when things got going, you'd be like, hey, man, I can't wait to see that offense. That's a bummer. You can't see that offense if they don't play. Can't wait for that. Can't wait. This guy's going to recruit the positive attitude, the mentality, man. Willie Taggart. That's what people will say. Whether you love the hire or not of any of these guys, there's always positive energy and momentum going when it first starts.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is, when you saw him on the football field that first year under Willie Taggart, people started like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
You know, that was like a huge red flag. And it's like, whoa. And it only lasted a couple seasons. That maybe is the importance of seeing something out on a football field here for Mike Norvell. Not for only Mike Norvell, but for administrators at Florida State, for boosters at Florida State, for fans of Florida State, for recruits that might go to Florida State, and for the players at Florida State.
Yeah. Well, and listen, if you're a Florida State fan right now, the last thing that you have to go off of is last season. And guys were getting penalties, guys weren't lined up properly, and it was still some of the, it was the same stuff from Willie Taggart. So with that being said, until they got let go. So with that being said, you want to see it this year, regardless of how many wins you're going to get. I think, expectations are pretty run of the line.
Yeah,
maybe
lukewarm.
Yeah, lukewarm, let's just say. Great call. So expectations to win the ACC obviously aren't there right now. But what you want to do if you're Florida State, and what you want to do if you're Norvell right now, is you want to put out a product that shows discipline and a culture change, right? Because I remember when we sat, it was before a shrimp game, and we were talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars taking the Baltimore Ravens, that preseason game. And I came in to that show frustrated. And what was I frustrated about? The penalties. I'm like, if they don't clean up these penalties right now, it's going to last the entire season. Well, lo and behold, Jaguars the most penalized team, of the entire year. So it sticks with you, right? And right now, I think just the lack of discipline. And keep in mind, when Taggart was gone and other guys took over, you saw maybe a little change of that, but you want to see it for a whole season now. You want to see consistency, and that's what Mike Norvell can accomplish this year with Florida State.
All right, one more college football topic, at least for now, because right now ACC Big 12 schedule came out. September 26th is going to be the start date. There's heavy thought that will be the date for all of them. It looks like that could happen. Already was going to be the case for SEC. Still haven't seen an SEC schedule. But they're rocking and rolling for now until evidence tells them otherwise. And they all acknowledge there could be a pivot. Mm-hmm. But for now, they're moving on with the way they had it planned. So we'll see what happens with those schools. We've talked a couple times now over the last couple of days about the spring stuff, about the idea of a spring season. Saw an interesting article on ESPN today about spring college football season and trying to make it work.
Yep.
Here's some of the thoughts. Top pro prospects will opt out. They say quite a few already have, and more are likely. Fall or spring, we are going to be moving forward without some of the sport's biggest stars, and the spring would likely have more opt-outs than the fall. Absolutely, right?
But that's
without a doubt.
That's a given.
Like Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence aren't playing in the spring.
No.
Can't imagine.
No.
Now, Ryan Day from Ohio State said, hey, the hope is to let's start as quick as we can in January if we're going to do a spring thing. By the way, Ohio State also said, it's been vocal, said they're not going to pursue anything in the fall. We'll be ready to go in the spring if that's the case. But he said, let's try to do this as quick as we can in January. You know why he kind of said that? Is because if I say, hey, Justin,
yeah,
you can play January, February, and March and still be in line for the draft.
Yep.
Well, I might have a chance to keep my quarterback.
Correct.
So it makes sense for Ohio State. Yeah. But no doubt we're going to see more opt-outs if that's the case. Heck, we could have The Rock come in and steal everybody anyway.
It could happen.
A spring season conflicts with the draft. The story here is it does. Maybe the NFL could be persuaded to move the combine and draft back a few weeks. Getting more film on guys is good. If the draft remains in April, there's no NFL combine, it'd be awkward. Still, Major League Baseball draft happens during the College World Series. Doesn't have to be a make or break issue. I fall in that, too. Now, keep in mind, I think the collective bargaining agreement says it has to come by June 2nd. We've talked yesterday or 2 days ago about could you play that season and then go enter the draft? Somebody referenced it like hockey does in that sense, basically playing in your collegiate season, and baseball is another good reference to that.
Yeah. Listen, in terms of the combine might not being prevalent, I've been on this show firsthand saying, how much should we buy into the combine in terms of the numbers of the bench press, the 40-yard dash? I get all of that. But the combine still serves some purpose, Brent. And I still want players to go to the combine and showcase not only their football smarts, but obviously their physical skills as well. I'm reminded of a guy like Byron Jones, okay? Byron Jones, I believe, went to the University of Connecticut. Now, you can turn on the film and watch Byron Jones all day. Film is the most important part. But guess what? He plays at Connecticut. He better dominate the competition when you play at Connecticut, right? But what does he do then when he goes to the combine? He breaks like a world record of a standing broad jump. I think it was like 12 feet something. Well, you just propelled yourself, sir, from maybe a 6th, 5th round pick, this intriguing cornerback out of Connecticut, to a bona fide first round pick because you jumped out of the gym, okay? And to be fair, he's produced ever since, right? So there was something to say with those numbers. So once again, I always say that teams go off your film in terms of where they want to draft you, in terms of where they rank you, but the combine gives you an opportunity, Brent, to put yourself over the top.
Agreed. And you've done it before, so you've lived it.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we have? How do we know the coronavirus situation will be any better in the spring? Listen, we don't. In fact, I'm convinced it might not be. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you're going to get a spring season just for that.
But here's the problem, though. So let's assume right now with the Big Ten and the Pac-12, let's just say it's only those two conferences that go to the spring, okay? And then let's say the SEC, the Big 12 and the ACC plays this out. Now, we don't know how it's going to look, but let's just assume that they play it out. Regardless of a national champion or not, they play it out. Well, let's just say that it doesn't get better. Well, let's just say maybe it's peaking and there's actually another surge of a pandemic and people getting sick again. What do you do then if you're the Big Ten and Pac-12? Do you just say cancel the season?
Yep. Unless, and what they bring up here, and that's what they're hoping for, is there's some kind of rapid result testing or a vaccine of some sort. You buy yourself more time in the medical world over the next few months.
No, I understand that, and I totally understand that, and I get that.
Or, by the way, to get your dang ducks in a row that you couldn't do for the last 4 months.
No, I hear you, man. But I'm just saying, if you forego and obviously wait till the spring, and the other conferences, they play their ball, is it even worse optics when you wait till the spring? The other conferences have already played. Now it's like, well, we took a gamble, and guess what? It's actually worse now, so we're going to opt out and not play at all. To me, that makes you look a lot worse.
That's why I don't understand the decision being so early.
Sure.
You've already got kids on campus and athletes on campus. I don't understand why it had to be made right now.
Well,
and the SEC,
I agree
ACC,
with you
and
on
Big
that.
12 are saying that.
Yeah.
Just hold off until the last moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got backdoor channel and communications going on with networks and all this other stuff. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I do not understand why on August 10th and 11th it was, we had to make this decision about something that could have started on September 26th.
Sure.
In a world that we're living in right now that seems to change by the day. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that part of it, to your point.
Okay.
But they have pigeonholed themselves now to that timetable somewhere in the spring. Which the next shoe to fall would be to either delay it even more, which doesn't seem to fit, or just say, we're done. We're just not doing it this sports year.
Yeah.
Weather they bring up in this, the weather's going to be bad. I would say who cares about the weather? I'm not going to talk about it. If it's bad weather, so what?
It's playing the snow. I don't care, man. I like snow games.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not me playing in it, so I'm fine.
Let's see. What else? How can you care about player? This is the big one, right? How do you care about player safety and then ask players to play 2 seasons in 1 calendar year? So
I probably preached that about, 25 times.
You said that. A lot of people have said that.
A couple days ago.
Now, listen, before I even read this part, what I have said is I, like Ryan Day, not because I have Justin Fields, but like Ryan Day, would try to play in the early stages if I can. Truncate it if you need to, which means shrink the amount of games to 8 or 10, whatever it is, based on the time frame you have. And then I would also likely push back the 21 season by a month or so and not start on week 0 and start maybe in the early stages of October. I do think this pandemic is going to alter the calendar for some 18 months moving forward in some sports and some of everything going on, whether it's sports related or not. And so that would be the at least the logical fix to me. Here's what they say. Playing in the spring could absolutely affect the 21 fall schedule. You might have to delay the start of the season by a certain number of weeks. That's kind of what I just said. Again, any solution to a wicked problem is a one-off and will have a unique set of effects. I agree. I mean, we know this is unique times. Try to make it work. As strange as this sounds, even with the spring season, players will end up taking fewer hits over the course of a year or so. In this case, March 2020 through April 21, than ever before. Ready? Under normal circumstances, they would have had a full set of 2020 spring practices, a 12 to 15 game season in the fall, another 15 practice spring session in 21. Granted, they'll take more hits in the spring of 21, but in terms of short-term versus long-term effects, there's nothing guaranteeing that the traditional structure would be any safer. And I've said that as well. That goes to the point of what they're trying to say is they didn't have the normal spring this past year.
Correct.
So their bodies are healed. They're not taking as many blows and hits. They're now not playing all in the fall. So they're getting this rest and conditioning and recovery and just as in a training mode before they put their bodies through the rigors of this. Then they normally would go into spring practices anyway again in 2021, culminating with a spring game. And as I've said before, the intensity will not be near what it will be in an actual season.
Correct.
But your games now are not 12. You're not playing 12 to 15 games. They've already shortened the season to at most 10 games, it looks like. Well, then you roll over into 21 and you're playing now that's 12 to 15 game schedule. So you take the accumulation of the two springs and a fall 12 to 15 game season. Following me?
Pretty much.
And you put it into like an 8 to 10 game season in the spring.
Yeah,
that's your trade-off.
I got you.
So are you actually hurting the body more? Are you actually playing 2 full seasons within a 10-month span? Like I've said, elongate the calendar a little bit, truncate the seasons if you need to, squeeze them in. These are unique times. This is not you cannot go into this saying we need to do things the way we've always done it. And so I couldn't agree more with that part of it. I understand that's a great argument against the spring season. I think there are ways around it, quite frankly. And one of the things around it is 2020 will be a year where if you don't play in the fall like the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, quite frankly, you didn't even take a hit.
Did they mention at all competing with college basketball?
Let's see. I don't see it in here. No. I mean, this is a long article.
Yeah.
They also say, how would spring football work? Said, keep the schedules as they are. Simply move them. Go back to the original 8 or 9 game conference schedule. Have division-only play, followed by a conference jamboree, they suggest here. Have division-only play, followed by an expanded college football playoff. Well, there we go. We get expanded college football playoff. Oh, NCAA not going to like that.
Yeah.
But I like it. So, again, there's some good arguments in here. It's a great debatable topic. My gut on this, and you're not included in this, and it's okay. I'm not saying everybody across the board. But I said this 2 days ago. I retweeted our conversation last night about it because it continues to be a topic, and that's why we're bringing it up again today. If you are part of kind of the college, if you were born and raised on college football, sometimes what I call the good old boy network in a way, and I mean that with all due love and respect.
Which means he doesn't.
But if you were born and raised on college football, you have a major problem with spring, is my guess. If you separate and can allow yourself to separate yourself from that, and you say, we're in a pandemic, we're trying to get stuff in, trying to get these kids to play and use their academic eligibility and their sports eligibility. Yeah, we're trying to get money because that's what football brings in. I'm going to go out of my way and do anything that we can do, even if it's not the norm, to get it in. If you say it that way, to me, the spring makes some sense. And that's what I've been saying all week long.
Was there any mention about the studies of student athletes and how classes work?
Didn't see it in there.
Yeah. Why would there be? Because who cares about student athletes? It's all about athletes, man. We're not worried about the student part of it.
Well, to be honest with you, now, I'll finish what I was going to say first, and then I'll ask this question. What I was going to say is, from a if you're struggling with your studies or in the fall while you're trying to play football and you're traveling and that's when you were in season in college, whether it was me in Division II baseball or you at Murray State or somebody playing at Alabama, the trickiest part of your academic schedule is you're in season.
Without a doubt.
Well, these folks, whether it's soccer players in the fall or football players, now have a chance to really get ahead this semester and take care of their studies. Now, you're always going to have it. You're going to have it in season.
Yeah.
But you can really lock down the studies to some degree right about now.
Sure. But, I mean, that's to assume that you can rechange your schedule and everything. I mean, usually those schedules are already locked in.
That is true. That's a good point,
usually
too.
you're already good to go.
Usually you take your minimal amount of credits during that in season. That's fair
And
point.
they're not just going to be like, since you're not playing football, let's go and add some more. I don't know how fair that is. But.
Yeah. Well, my point being, everybody should do well this fall in school. You have the time.
Sure, exactly.
Okay?
Great point.
Or at least if you put the effort in, you don't have as much conflict.
It's a great point.
But I guess you could have said the same about the spring if you're not playing football, right?
Correct.
So maybe that's not as great a point as I thought about it in my head 30 seconds ago.
You're good, man.
The question now has become, students are going to campus. They're on campus.
I mean, most students are. Some
are doing it
Some
virtually.
schools are doing virtually.
But a lot of these kids are going to school from Knoxville, Tennessee to Gainesville to Tallahassee to all over. And the NCAA is allowing the coaches and the players to continue to do their thing. Like it's an off season, like 20 hours a week, and get your drills in, get your workouts in. They're going to do the protocols that exist at their schools and institutions.
Yep.
They're doing all that except for playing games on Saturday.
But, hang on. Now let's change that narrative just a little bit. Yes. So there are students on campus right now. There are people working out. There are people maybe socializing. But let's be honest. You can set up parameters to quarantine those. I'm not sorry, to social distance those people. Like, obviously, right now, with students being on campus at some universities, it's not going to be the same as it's been. There's going to be, I'm sure a student sitting over here, then 6 feet apart, another student. So, they're setting it up so there'll be social distancing. Obviously, I think if you go to the gym, if you work out, if you go see, the team doctor or something like that, if you go get some treatment, there are parameters set up for social distancing. The problem comes, whether it's volleyball, college football, anything in the fall sports, you can't social distance really when you practice. You can't social distance when you play in a game. And to me, that's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
If there was some way to do it, I'm sure they would have done it, but obviously you can't do that.
And even in the NFL, that's what they've done until this point. See, the testing is at 1% in the NFL, and they just said we're going to continue testing daily. That's one of the news items that came out of the NFL today.
Yeah.
But what we have yet to see is a full-fledged practice and then the results of that, to your point.
Correct.
And that's more concern, more risk, probability of risk. The great debate, the comeback here by so many is, you don't think kids are going to go to a party on Thursday night? Well, yeah, they probably will.
Well, I mean, look at what happened in Rutgers, right? Like the whole hashtag, we want to play. Did you want to play when you went to that party in Rutgers?
Yeah.
Were you guys thinking about playing then? Or were you thinking about hitting that, that $5 red Solo cup with some beer? I mean,
And so the argument to it, and listen, it takes an enormous amount of responsibility by everybody involved right now to do what you're supposed to do to avoid the probability being higher.
Yeah.
And some people do, and some people don't. Ask the Marlins, ask the Cardinals, ask Rutgers and others.
Yeah.
But now that there are no games, you do wonder. I don't think it's clear as day just because they're having drills and they're still monitoring and protocols. There are going to be more rogue players now on a football squad for some college that say, all right, I'm going to that party on Thursday night. I don't have to be ready to play on Saturday. I got to be ready for drills on Saturday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, there's going to be that, but also even if you are playing football, Brent, there's still going to be some of those people, right? Because the Miami Marlins showed us that. The St. Louis Cardinals showed us that. Lou Williams showed us that. Regardless of how on the same page you are, regardless of what's at stake, you're always going to have the outliers. You're always going to have the guys, let's call them the bad apples, if you will, that want to do their own thing. And that happens with any kind of subset of society. That's just the way society's set up.
Yeah, it's not uniform.
It is not uniform. And obviously, when you talk about football teams where you have more players than a baseball team, you have more players on a basketball team, to me, that's where you have to get nervous, because there are, and mark my words, there's going to be some guys on every single football team, whether it's going to be the pros or college, that maybe they're going to go out for a couple drinks. Maybe they're going to go out and socialize a little bit when they shouldn't, because that's just human nature, and you can't stop human nature. So to me, that's where, you know, my stress would come from. That's where my worry would come from. Or I get what you're saying, man, where we're going to play football this year, then I'm going to go out and party. Why not? What else do I have to lose? But I'm even more worried about the teams that do have something to play for right now.
Yeah, I think I know that's a common argument. It's not really my argument. It's just a common argument against it. It's a valid point, and it's a debatable one. Where is the cutoff? Why is the edge? It's kind of like, why did the NFL go to 80 players, say you could practice together, and 90 players you can't? I'm like, that still baffles me, and I don't know if anybody could give me an answer that would satisfy me. You know, and I think the debate here on the college can is like, okay, so everybody's allowed back at this institution, and we can even do drills, and we can do all these things. We're going to continue to do protocols, but we can't play. That's kind of the way it comes off. And I don't have a great answer for you on that.
That's just it, Brent. You don't have a great answer. I don't have a great answer. Any college football expert right now that's not in it doesn't have a great answer. And to me, that's the problem. It's the transparency, right? Like, we're sitting here picking apart the Big Ten. You know why? Because you announced a schedule, and then a couple days later you said, well, season's canceled. Sorry. Why?
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Yeah.
Tell us what went behind it.
Barry Alvarez, did you see that?
Yeah,
He had like a 4-minute thing that they pushed out on social media, and I thought it was pretty good. You know, it's a football guy now. And keep in mind, he's in an AD seat where he can't just talk about football. Soccer and other things are important, and you got to make sure which they are, but we know football is a $60 to $80 to $100 million importance.
Yeah.
So I thought he did a pretty good job of explaining. Listen, if there's a great job by them or the Big Ten to encourage it. If there's an AD or a person in power in a university that wants football to be played, it would be Barry Alvarez.
You're not lying, man.
And so
guys like the godfather of football in Wisconsin.
Having him be that spokesperson to come out and say, we try, we just can't get the answers we're happy with.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why the Big Ten commissioner had to come out and say it the way he said it.
I know.
Like he wrote that statement in March. You know, and the one other thing I would like to see the conferences do or the schools do, just acknowledge for once. Why is it such a harsh acknowledgement that you're losing money? You're making, like if I was the Big Ten and Pac-12, I would have added that in. How much do we care about the student athlete? How much are we concerned about this? We're willing to lose X amount of dollars. We're not doing it just for the money. And that's, by the way, not a pat on our back. That's how important we think this is.
We value our student athletes.
Yeah, that's how scared of this thing we are. I mean, money can help you put it in perspective sometimes.
Listen, in terms of ranking of who's doing well, who's not doing well, money's the ultimate ranker.
Well, and we all know right now everybody's fallback, and I don't think this is actually true right down the list. But everybody right now is like the Big 12, ACC, and SEC, man, they want those dollars.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
That's what everybody is, right.
For sure.
And money's part of it. I just like to see somebody acknowledge that it's a part of it. I don't feel like we're getting a lot of that.
Yeah, it's almost like it's kind of taboo. Like no one's talking about the money.
Again, but that's always been my problem with the NCAA. The NCAA is yet to acknowledge that college football and college basketball are big business. We're a non-for-profit, blah, 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 blah. We care about student athletes in all sports. We present them with this opportunity in all sports. But let me tell you this. In college football and college basketball, it's about the damn dollars.
Yeah. Well, listen, you care about the money, just not student athletes making the money right now. But you better start caring about that because that's going to change pretty soon.
That's probably why they don't say it, because they acknowledge it and then they open that door, right? I'd still rather hear it.
I hear you.
All right, I'm going to get to the youth and the Jaguars part of the conversation. I'm going to tie the Jacksonville Jaguars in to Colin Morikawa and Fernando Tatis Jr. It's next on
You just can't get off that Colin Morikawa bandwagon, man. You're all aboard.
Man, PGA champ.
You're all aboard it.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Afternoon and early evening, heavy storms again, highs in the low 90s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
You've worked hard all your life. Retirement worries shouldn't get in the way, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. But many Americans are finding that retiring on a fixed income is hard. BenefitsCheckup.org is a free website from the National Council on Aging. With just a few clicks, you can see if you qualify for thousands of dollars to pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. BenefitsCheckup.org. You've earned this. This message is supported by the Administration for Community Living.
It happens to all of us. That AC unit just starts making some noise, or even worse, it's not working anymore. This is the time of year you don't want that to happen. It's way too hot around here. My friends at Bold City Heating and Air will help. They helped us. It started with a call from my wife, and she said the AC wasn't working. So we jumped on BoldCityAC.com, and before we knew it, they were at the door. Super friendly customer service, clean, timely, and personal service call. And now we're loyal to Bold City Heating and Air. They took care of my family. They'll take care of your family. It's a big investment in AC unit, but a necessary one. Mirrors at Bold City Heating and Air has built a strong culture, and as a customer, you can feel it. We felt it. The easiest way to start the relationship with an AC company you can trust is to go to BoldCityAC.com. Have Bold City Heating and Air check out your AC. Right now, it's $25 off and annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it's working efficiently. Good peace of mind at the very least. Visit BoldCityAC.com. Be bold and beat the heat at BoldCityAC.com.
Celebrate your love with end-of-summer savings now at Beard's Diamonds.
Right now at Beard, take advantage of 5 years, 0 interest financing.
Yes, 5 years, 0 interest financing with 0 down. Take advantage of Beard's already lowest prices in town. But now, spread your payments out over 60 months.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500, you pay just $25 a month. It's the best deal of the summer. Get her that piece of jewelry she's been dreaming about and spread your payments out over 60 months.
But it's only for a limited time and only at Beard's Diamonds.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
Come into Beard's Diamonds. See the difference. Save thousands.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. I don't know about you, but I just want to get in the car and drive somewhere. Windows down, radio playing, exploring some 2-lane back roads. It's like a mini vacation. So I say, get in your new Chevy and go. Huh? You don't have a new Chevy? Well, we can fix that, like a new Equinox. Right now, the factory says take 15% off, but we can do up to 5 better. That's right, up to 20% off, or choose a discount and 0% for up to 84 months. Only at Gordon Chevy in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
All across the nation, we are here for our communities.
We're doing our part to get supplies where it's needed in order to fight COVID-19 together.
It feels good to be out there to assist our community.
I would like our friends and family to know that your National Guardsmen are always ready and always there.
Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Home Builders Institute is a national leader for career training in the building industry and provides students the skills and experience they need for successful careers. HBI training programs are taught in local communities across the country to youth, veterans, displaced workers, and other underserved populations. These programs do more than just provide job skills. They also build character and self-esteem, helping to provide students with the skills they need to succeed on the job and in life. Learn more at hbi.org.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
We're working with Coach Anthony Tamburello down there. Got a lot of good work in. Obviously, speed was a big, area emphasis down there. Maintaining as much strength as I can, to put as much on the ball as possible with my current weight. So we had a lot of good work, and now I'm glad to be back with Coach Malo in our weight room here and continue that process here.
That is Gardner Minshew, Jaguars quarterback. All right, when you were playing, do you remember an off season where you put in a lot of work from losing weight, gaining speed, maybe a change in diet, whatever it was, that you couldn't wait to get to camp and see how it played out? And by the way, did it work?
In the pros, or can I go college as well?
Yeah, I guess in your playing career.
Yeah, so there's two instances. One was when I got released from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kansas City Chiefs had first dibs. I've told this story before a little bit. But I get released. 3 days later, I get a call from general manager at the time, Phil Dorsey, I believe it was, right? Phil?
No.
Glenn Dorsey?
No.
It's Dorsey.
Former defensive tackle.
Oh, yeah.
It is Dorsey. And now I'm blanking on it because you got me thinking.
Sorry, man.
Jim and Glenn.
Jim Dorsey, Glenn. I'm looking it up right now.
It was with Cleveland.
The guys from Wisconsin,
we
too.
saw
John Dorsey.
Bowl, John.
There we go. Sorry about that, John. So John Dorsman calls me up, and first thing he says is, better put on 25 pounds. Well, thanks for the welcome. It's good to be a part of your team, the Kansas City Chiefs, but thanks for the welcome. So, yeah, had to put on 25 pounds. Needless to say, when you have essentially 3.5 months to put on 25 pounds, there's no easy way of doing it. Now, if I want to do steroids, I probably could have, and that would have been a little easier. Probably would have looked a little leaner, let's just say. But I was first team all dad bod, man. I was a chunky monkey, let's just say. You know what I'm saying? So actually, I made weight. I made 285 pounds. And I just remember being out there the first day. You know, we're out there with just helmets on. And I'm like, oh, I feel bloated. I just feel like I feel gross, man. Yeah, so that sucked. And then the other time that I can think of was my sophomore year going into my junior year at Murray State. My freshman year at Murray State, I was 205 pounds. 205. Started my very first game, my first college game.
Telvin Smith might have been more than that.
So my very first college game, week 1, we played Missouri. I was starting defensive end, left defensive end at 205. Going against an all, what was it? It was the Big 12. What were they?
Well, at the time, they might have been the Big 12.
The Big 12, yeah. So going against an all Big 12 right tackle. How do you think that went for me? Now, I got a sack against Chase Daniel, and that was cool. But overall, how do you think that went for me, Brent? Pretty bad. Exactly. Sophomore year, 215. How do you think that went for me, Brent? Not too
better
good.
playing safety.
Exactly. Thank you very much. So, and keep in mind, like, I tried to gain the weight, man. I was at the cafeteria all the time trying to put on the calories. It's just my body wasn't having it. Well, going into my third year, and keep in mind, this is Murray State, and I love Murray State to death, obviously. I have so much racer pride, it's not even funny, as people are probably annoyed when I talk about it on this show. But in terms of nutrition, in terms of supplementation, we didn't have that access, okay? We're an FCS school. We're not Alabama. We're not USC. We're not, we're not Florida. We don't have the protein shakes. We don't have. So what I did was, because once again, don't have a clue about nutrition, is every single night, right before I went to bed, I ate a can of Spam. I would fry that up, and I would put it on 2 cups of white rice, mix around with some ketchup, salt, and pepper. And that was my I'd eat that before I go to bed at night. Every single night. Apartment smelled like absolute crap, but it is what it is. Roommates had to deal with that. So I did that, and then I discovered this thing called creatine. You know what creatine is, Brent?
I do.
Creatine is it does a couple things. Obviously, it pushes your workouts a little harder, helps with recovery. But the big thing, especially back then when we're talking about the GNC supplements, is it keeps water weight on, right? So I went from
big wrestling thing.
Exactly. So I went from 215 my sophomore year to about 245, 250 my junior year.
Wow.
From eating Spam and rice and ketchup and doing creatine.
How about that?
Yeah. Now, did I look that great? Probably not. I wasn't the talk of the town in Panama City Beach for spring break. That's okay, though. Because as far as the weight was concerned, dude, I felt great. I was probably as strong as I've ever been.
Interesting. That's what's fascinating about kind of your position. Most people try to lose weight, whether it's a new football season for me or like Minshew, what he's trying to do and add good weight.
Yeah.
Funny thing about defensive linemen, offensive linemen, they're just trying to get fatter.
For sure. For sure.
I mean, it's like you're trying to get, who's trying to get fatter?
Yeah.
Like nobody other than offensive and defensive linemen. And Ty.
Yeah, like who's trying to look worse during beach season? We are.
Yes.
That's our job. Yeah.
But that's what reason I brought that up is off the Minshew talking about speed and other things that he did in the offseason. I wonder that part of it, how he feels and how he'll play with the changes that he made. Because a lot, like anything else, you feel a little more confident. That's good.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I can tell or you can tell, whatever. If he can tell and it feels good, well, that's a little extra confidence. You know, look good, feel good, play good. It can be a real thing.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, too, depending, I mean, it can have great effects on just your recovery. It can have great effects on, your longevity of your career as well. I mean, I'm always reminded of Greg Jones. I don't think Greg Jones ever touched anything from McDonald's or Burger King. Meanwhile, every single day, I'm going to Panda Express downing 2 orders of General Tso's chicken just because that's what I did. Greg Jones, on the other hand, is eating chicken and broccoli every single day. Now, you look at how Greg Jones looks, that makes sense, right?
That's what chicken and broccoli does.
That's what chicken and broccoli does right there. And you know what? And a lot of weights as well. And hey, you know what? Genetics, I hope. Genetics as well. So with that being said, obviously he had a pretty long career and had a pretty storied career at the fullback position. It all goes hand in hand.
All right. Interesting. Hey, Jay Gruden talked today, and I brought this up earlier in the show. But when Jay Gruden talked, the new Jags offensive coordinator, former coach of the Washington football team, former offensive coordinator at Cincinnati Bengals, I'm sitting there in the Zoom meeting listening after practice, and I'm telling you, I can hear I don't know if I referenced or heard it the first time he met the media as much as I did this time when he was really talking football. And I can hear John Gruden talking, because we can all hear John Gruden talking, because not only did we know him as Tampa Bay Bucks and Oakland Raiders and now Las Vegas Raiders, but we watched him on TV. Yeah. So you hear that voice, right? A lot. But now I don't know which one's real or which one's Frank Caliendo either.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at in the John Gruden or in the Gruden family of voices.
Yeah.
Which one is Caliendo? Which one is Jay? Which one is John? So Kuz pulled a couple of sound clips.
It's time to guess that Gruden. Now, usually we have like the whole fan base, chime in with that.
But coronavirus, we can't let them come in.
That's a good point.
Is Caliendo the older brother or younger brother?
Step brother. He could be. I'd say kind of the black sheep, probably stepbrother. Yeah, let's call him the stepbrother.
All right, hope he doesn't mind that. Yeah. So, Kuz, you got to play us. He picked short clips, is what he told me, because he didn't want context clues.
Yeah.
Which hopefully we won't get, but that might be hard to avoid. So you're going to play
one of each.
One of each. Just go back to back or should we one of each and then we did pick, or should you go back to back to back? What do you think?
Oh, I'm so confused. Let me I say we hear it and then we guess who it is.
You want to hear all of them, or
no, just go one at a time?
One at a time.
Okay.
One at a time.
Here is the first one.
Ability. He's got coverage ability, and he's what we're looking for.
Got it.
Don't tell us if we're right or wrong.
Okay.
Okay, you know what the first one you're going with?
Yep.
All right, I do too. I'm not going to say it. Go ahead, next one.
Okay.
Things might have started out a little rocky. After a little while, we started seeing eye to eye, man.
Got it.
Okay.
And the last one.
We've had a lot of meetings. We've had a lot of walkthroughs before we actually practice full speed.
John Gruden, Frank Caliendo, Jay Gruden.
I got him too.
That is correct.
I got him too.
Yep.
You can kind of tell Caliendo got a little squeakier John Gruden impression, doesn't he?
A little bit of helium going.
Well, Caliendo is. Oh wow, I have some helium going too. After I just had some little lunch there. Excuse me. Caliendo, he over-exaggerates it, though. You can tell, like, hey, I'll tell you what, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. Like, he goes above and beyond, as he should, because he's trying to mimic it.
Things might have started out a little rocky. After a little while, we started seeing eye to eye, man.
That's great.
Yeah. He's embellishing a little bit. I love it, though, man.
Do you think Caliendo could, listen to your voice for, the last segment?
Yeah.
And then, if we called them up, he'd be able to spit it back out
I
at
guarantee you. Some people are just that talented. Caliendo can do anybody. Truth be told, though, I feel like my voice isn't that hard to do. My wife can do a great Austin Lane.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. She makes fun of me all the time.
Call her up?
Call her up sometimes, dude. But it's so over exaggerated. Oh, check out my shoes. I'm cool. I'm Austin Lane. That's what she always does, man. But I don't know if it's really that accurate. Maybe it's just more just making fun of me.
Well, I think it is that.
Passive aggressively.
I think it sounds like that.
Maybe when you have a little chit chat when I get home. Now that I think about it,
I say keep it up, Cody.
Yeah, but she's a pretty good Austin Lane, I guess. Yeah,
that's good. So John, Jay, and Frank Caliendo, the stepbrother of the Grudens.
That's awesome, though.
Now, can you play John and Jay back to back, Kuz? Because it's pretty darn close now.
It is.
Yeah. Here we go.
Ability. He's got coverage ability, and he's what we're looking for. We've had a lot of meetings. We've had a lot of walkthroughs before we actually practice full speed.
See, the thing is, I think you put it on the same microphone, and it's identical.
Well, that's the problem,
that's
too.
Right.
The ones that Zoom, I think the ones that Zoom call on a good recording because it's from a few years ago.
So the tone of it's a little different.
Tone's a little different. That's crazy, though.
That is wild.
That's insane. I mean, you have a couple sisters, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys sound alike or not? Probably not, huh?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Nobody's ever told me that.
Kuz, you? Because you have a pretty distinct voice.
I've been told, there's times where, I'll laugh or I'll say something and they'll think I sound like my dad, but never my brothers.
Gotcha. Do your brothers have, deeper voices or higher
I would
voices?
say they are.
Is there more bass in their voice or more treble?
I knew we were going to get to the Wizard of Oz somewhere in here.
I mean, but seriously, though.
I think I took all the helium in the family.
Treble Kuz, man. Treble Kuz. Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, one of the great stories of this week in sports, I hit on it yesterday toward the end of the show, this West Coast bias. If you a lot of people might not know who Colin Morikawa is.
Yeah.
Now they do. He won the PGA Championship. But if you know sports and if you pay attention, he's been out at Cal and you know him. Mm-hmm. I don't know if golf works that way because, I mean, they play all over the globe and all over the country. But we've said this about Mike Trout on countless occasions. Heck, I think Mookie Betts will get buried out in L.A. to some degree. I mean, they're the Dodgers, but still, I think he'll get lost in conversation. Listen, Mike Trout has been lost in conversation, then I think Betts will probably be too.
Sure.
Fernando Tatis Jr. for the Padres is a special talent, man. He is fun and good. He's just a great ball player at a young age, but he's a lot of fun, too. Even Russell Wilson, does he get the love that he deserves being out in Seattle? So I do believe there's a West Coast bias. And is it real? It's not our fault. You played the game so dang late. I mean, we can't all watch it.
True. Yeah,
but that's not our fault.
But was there like a
when I say our fault, I mean like fans.
Yeah.
Right?
But like, was there like a Steve Young bias though, Brent? I mean, and I get like we're talking different eras now, but like I think football is a little different though. Because
you play, even if you play in the West Coast, you're playing at 4:00.
Correct. And there was a time for a while when Marshawn Lynch was probably the biggest name.
Well, Joe Montana is considered the best of all time before.
But what I'm saying, I think it's harder to hide in football than it is obviously baseball.
True. But to that point, college football programs get lost all the time out west.
True.
Because, again, they're on late. It's one of those things, much like baseball, even the NBA. LeBron probably is, and the pandemic certainly has allowed them to play all on East Coast times. Even if they're playing later at night, it's a 9:00 game. So I just think there is. I think it happens. That's not the main part of the story. The other part of the story is Morikawa's 23. Fernando Tatis Jr. is like, I don't even know. I think he might be 20 or 21. It's amazing how good players are young now. And that's been a trend.
Tatis Jr. is 21 years old.
21.
Yeah.
So, and he's a star, man. He's a star.
Congratulations on being able to go to the bar and have a drink
Now,
as you're like the biggest star in San Diego.
By the way, Griffey was like that, right? Yep. 19 years old, and you knew he was already a star, and maybe he didn't get all his due early on because of Seattle or whatever. But just a young guy. Trevor Lawrence comes right in and bam, lights it up. Manziel was like that, right? So these guys, it's like you can't be too young anymore. In sports, you can perform. Now, I also think that doesn't eliminate the old guys.
No.
Drew Brees and Tom Brady. Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, Jim Furyk, you name it, in golf. Daniel Murphy's still lighting it up at 34 years old in the big leagues in terms of hitting. It does not eliminate the old guy. But there is no such thing, in my opinion, as being too young anymore to be a star and to be productive.
Listen, I think that's a testament to just the way kids are these days. When kids say, or when parents say, man, you're getting so old, like, that's not a mistake. Like, I remember when I was a kid, Brent, like, I'll be honest, I didn't care what I looked like until I got to high school. I mean, I looked like an absolute bum. I wasn't really like that self-aware. Like, I had other things in my mind. But like kids these days, they're so self-aware now. They're tied to all the trends, and you have all the social media and everything. And by the time they get to high school and college, they're well mature beyond those years. Now, they might do some dumb stuff like kids do, obviously. But I just think like when you put them in terms of pressure situations, they know how to handle it because they're more mature beyond their years. Like I think of like the Olympics. Watch the Olympics sometime. Katie Ledecky, I think, was 15 or 16 years old when she won the gold medal in swimming? Excuse me? You're on the biggest stage and you're 16 years old? You can barely drive? You couldn't even drive the Olympics and you're winning gold medals? Like
gymnastics has been like that for a long time. You're right. Olympics are that's a great call. That's been like that for a long time.
On the biggest stage.
But also another one where it doesn't mean just because there's this youth movement, doesn't mean you have to eliminate age.
Yeah.
Because Phelps and Ledecky and still got it done even down the road.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about it. Why is it happening? And then I want to equate it to the Jags. How can it be an excuse then? Are we done with we're too young? We're the youngest team in the NFL? Might be an advantage. We'll talk about it next on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Well, and you know where I stand on this, and I've been very adamant about this. I'm not going to be surprised whether it's in the NFL or college where teams are going to try to, maybe kind of sway the rules a little bit just to get that competitive edge. There's nothing more competitive than a football season, whether it's college or the NFL.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233. Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Oil change coming up? We can help you out. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $27.99. And if you need it fast, we can help you get it fast. Whether it's at home with our next day delivery or in store and curbside with our free same day pickup. The choice is yours. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Boating with friends and family is enjoyable and the ultimate in safe social distancing. Yamaha Marine Center in Orange Park on Wells Road has one of the best lineups of premium boat brands, including Pursuit and Regulator, and the best-selling boats in Florida, Key West Boats. Visit YamahaMarineJax.com to find your boat today. Yamaha Marine Center provides award-winning customer service before and after the sale. Let them help you find the right boat for your adventures. Yamaha Marine Center on Wells Road in Orange Park. Visit YamahaMarineJax.com.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs and make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Trey Wingo from Golic and Wingo, and you're listening to ESPN 690.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Developing story. Rockets guard Russell Westbrook will not play the rest of the seeding schedule after an MRI revealed strained quads. His status will be reevaluated before the NBA playoffs start next week. An explanation today from Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby as to why the conference is proceeding toward a fall football schedule. Says the league's comfortable moving forward because its medical professionals haven't indicated it's unsafe to do so. Bowlesby also said the Big 12 will stop if doctors say they should. Much will be expected of any college football player who plays this fall, believes ESPN's Louis Riddick.
It's an ask that's going to require you to do things and make choices that you're not always going to want to make. You want to make the choices that don't allow you to keep yourself safe and your teammates safe, then the consequence is probably going to be your team's going to get shut down and you're going to have everything taken away from you that you want to do. So do you want to make that choice?
Louis Riddick on ESPN Radio Morning. Baseball, Yankee slugger Aaron Judge not in the lineup against the Braves tonight because of lower body tightness. The Bills signed coach Sean McDermott to a 6-year extension.
With thousands of locally owned Napa stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, they do too. So whether you stop by a local Napa Auto Parts store, Napa Auto Care Center, or visit Napa online, you can count on Napa know-how.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show, a name you know. If you've been listening and watching ESPN for a long time, I know you know him. We're going to call him one of the forefathers, if you will, of sports radio, Mike Greenberg.
Thank you. Forefathers is an interesting, that's fascinating. Every day, as I talk to more people, I get older and older. So that's kind of funny.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
First of all, I always like to start with the line. I always feel like games are won on the offensive and defensive line. And offensive line with Juwan, obviously we mentioned Brandon already. Cam is a young player that's going to develop into a great left tackle. Obviously Andrew at left guard, solid AJ. We got a good veteran offensive line. They're well coached by Coach Warhop, so I'm excited about that. Everything else can function accordingly. The running game will be better. The passing game will be better. It starts with those 5 guys, and then the backups. Will's a good, solid player, played a couple different positions. We're excited about them. And now we have to develop our quarterback. So obviously Gardner got to play 10 games last year. He's a young player. He's developing. He's an exciting player, but I like the way he plays.
It is freestyle that? Was that like off the top of his dome?
Oh, yeah. He was asked a question about what he likes about the offense.
I like it.
Listed like the depth chart.
Yeah, that was impressive.
That was Frank Caliendo.
Ah, yeah, that makes more sense. I got you. Yeah, he had a script.
That was Jay Gruden, offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's interesting hearing him talk, and you'll continue to hear some of the sound bites from today's news conference with Jay Gruden. I think it's the second time we've heard from Gruden. And it's complimentary. I kind of like this. This is what I got out of it from the Minshew stuff. He's complimentary, but not over the top. Not like, he's like, we still got it. He's got a lot of development to do here now. We got to see him on the field. Smart guy.
He has lots to prove.
You love a lot of things about him, but let's see how and that's a guy to me that's seen a lot. He's seen a lot of quarterbacks from Kirk Cousins to RG3 to Andy Dalton and then if you throw McAdoo in there and you've got Aaron Rodgers and Eli Manning, you got to see now a lot of quarterbacks go through and good ones and some that have disappointed, but good ones and have had success in the league. That's their measuring stick. It's not, oh, yeah, he's pretty good for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought that was pretty good. That was one of my takeaways of it. If you almost have to listen to the whole thing, and as that's sometimes I'll do that as I'm listening. I'll be like, all right, is he kind of blowing smoke here? Is he over the moon about a guy? And I haven't even seen him on the field much. But I thought he was a pretty honest assessment of Minshew. There's a lot to like. It's cool having him.
Mm-hmm.
But now let's go see it and see if he can get it done. Yeah. Which is the way a coach should be, is probably thinking. Mm-hmm. That's why it kind of felt real to me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Minshew's definitely the big man on campus right now. There's not a lie with that. But at the same time, what we talked about, earlier on in the show today, this season's important for a lot of reasons. And in terms of the coaches, it's important for keeping all of their jobs, right? And it's maybe important for trying to get a promotion someplace else. So with that being said, I mean, the question right now is Minshew going to be the guy going forward or not? Time will tell. But I like how Gruden's going about it, saying, "Look, listen, man, you're the quarterback right now, and we understand that, and you're the leader of this team, and you're the general, yada, yada, yada. But just because you're the man right now doesn't mean that you don't have to show me something as well, right? Because listen, you're the captain, I get that, but I'm calling the shots here. I'm calling the plays. This runs through me. So I like the hierarchy that's set up. I like the respect that's set up. And then now it's on Gardner Minshew to prove to Gruden that he is indeed the man for the job.
Yeah, absolutely. Before the break, I brought up guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Colin Morikawa. And there's so many others, by the way, young guys across sports in general. Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, you name it. It's a young man's game. And again, I think when people have these discussions sometimes like, oh, you got to be 22, 23, 24 to win championships, to win everything, to be the greatest. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Mickelson and Woods and guys like that defy that.
Sure.
I think there are Ovechkin, still got it done, right?
Playing some of his best hockey, yep.
I think what the beauty of today's world is you have longer careers, it seems like, it feels like, if you want to. And you can still be pretty darn good and pretty darn competitive, depending the sport.
Yeah.
Heck, LeBron's going to year 17, and I know his age is kind of young, but he's an old man, being an old man for that game, and he might be the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. But the point of this conversation is you don't need he's young, it's going to take some time as much as you used to in sports. It doesn't feel that. Maybe some guys do. Everybody's different. But we are seeing example after example after example right now, the last 5 years, the last 10 years, in a multitude of sports where the young athlete wins, and the young athlete wins big, and the young athlete performs at the grandest of stages and becomes maybe the best in the game super quick. Lamar Jackson, example.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes, example.
Mm-hmm.
My point in this conversation is you will hear countless times over this year, and I've probably been guilty of saying it already. The Jags are the youngest team in the NFL. The Jags are young. The Jags are young. The Jags have a lot of youth. They're inexperienced. They need more veterans. You know what? The more and more I think about it, it can't be an excuse. Everybody else is doing it at a young age. Everybody else. Oh, look, Josh Allen came in and had 10.5 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
He was a young guy. 10.5 sacks. Minshew hardly had an offense that was built for him. 6th-round pick. He delivered at times.
Yep.
C.J. Henderson has to come in here and be pretty good. Minshew in year 2 has to be pretty good. Laviska Shenault has to be able to deliver. I'm not saying you have to do it across the board. I understand the challenges of it when you have a younger team. And there are positions that it helps if you have veteran experience. Jay Gruden said that about center today.
Yeah.
So experience matters, but I just think more than ever before, the whole we are young and we are inexperienced doesn't hold water in sports today.
See, you put sports in the broad topic, and I agree with you there. But when we talk about the sport of football, to me, it's different. Now, I understand. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. You always talk about a lot of quarterbacks, it seems like, and I'm not saying you, but I mean the general consensus is that quarterbacks can come in day one and take over a team. And usually that can happen, obviously, depending if you draft the right quarterback or not. Because to me, the quarterback spot, it's a lot more mental than it is physical. Yeah, yes, you have to put the ball in the right area and you have to take some hits here, there. So you have to still be physical, but it's more mental. But when we're talking about defensive linemen, when we're talking about wide receivers, cornerbacks, pick your poison, linebackers, there's not a sport in this world that is more demanding and more taxing, I feel like, than football. Because you talk about when you make that transition from college to the pros, and it doesn't matter if you come from the SEC or if you come from an FCS school or D3. There's an adjustment period there, okay? As opposed to maybe baseball players or basketball players where it's like, well, if you're good, you're good. I mean, if you can see a curveball coming, you can hit it, you're good, okay? Football is different, though, man. If your body's not mature enough, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how savvy you are. You're probably not going to last that long. Right? So I think once players develop into their bodies a little bit and they get the feel for the change of speed, the change of power and things like that, well, now then they can adjust. Now, there's always going to be outliers out there. There's always going to be the Khalil Macks. There's always going to be the Josh Allens who are just mature beyond their years, not only mentally, but physically as well. Always outliers in every single sport. But I'm just saying from the general consensus of a football team, usually you want that experience. Usually you want that maturity, not only from obviously a mental standpoint, but you need it from a physicality standpoint.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do think there's something to like man strength, grown man strength.
Absolutely,
yeah, it's something to that, and especially in that sport where you need it. So I just will say, listen, I've been guilty of it before, and Jags have now done this for a couple of times over the last decade, and they've been young, and they've tried to redo it, and I just don't know how much leniency and I'm going to give you for being young when I look all around the sports world and I see young guys getting it done. I mean, they're getting it done. And I'm not one of these believers that say, oh, man, if you don't get – I'll know in the first 2 months whether this guy's a star or not. I do think when you're pretty good, you can tell right away. When Justin Blackmon took that field for the first time, I could tell he was pretty darn good right away,
Sure.
So there have been instances of that.
But it was a different game, Brent, wasn't it? Because you know why? He played 4 years in he played 3 years in college?
He was probably a 3-year guy.
He played 3 years in college, okay? Did he even last that long in the NFL without getting in trouble? I don't think so. So, like...
Yeah, so the maturity part, the other parts.
But, but also, like, and keep in mind, I think the transition from college to the NFL, it's the hardest because the game's so different. Okay, whether you come from an FCS school like Murray State and you have Quincy Williams saying that your head's in a beehive, or whether you come from, like a school like Alabama and, it's probably like the most pro-ready school you're ever going to go to. At that same time, though, there's an adjustment period, as opposed to basketball or baseball where it's like, listen, the game's still the same. Go out there, hit the ball. Go out there, field the ball. In basketball, go out there, defend your guy. Go out there, play zone. Go out there, make a three-pointer. It's simple like that. But when you get to the NFL, man, and obviously I talked about the physicality standpoint, but also the mental standpoint, all of a sudden the playbook's getting bigger. All of a sudden you got a lot more on your plate to worry about. Well, man, there's no other sport like that. So that's where, once again, I think maturity comes into play.
Yeah, that's a good point. And by the way, I think it isn't across the board. I'm just going to caution myself to use it, I guess, a little bit more. And sometimes ignorance is bliss in sports and the youth. Maybe we do say this. This is kind of a cliche where, they didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Maybe the Jags don't realize they're not supposed to be good and they surprise people.
Yeah.
But then I do have like a Taven Bryan example. Maybe some of that youth, whether it was maturity, even though he had great athleticism ever since he came out of Florida, maybe he needed some of this time. And all of a sudden it hits, it connects, it works. So there is a possibility of that happen. We have a bunch of observations from the first day that we were allowed out there at practice earlier in the show. One of them, by the way, was Taven Bryan. I thought he looked in good shape. Cam Robinson looks probably the best he's looked in a while. We also said a little leaner Josh Allen out there. Outside of that, it was seriously, if you're just joining us, it was kind of like watching a team workout at the gym. It really was. Like it was like going to like a CrossFit training session or something.
Sure.
It was not a lot of football. It was a little football, but it was not a lot of football. And that's designed. That's the phase 2 ramp up. Things will heat up a little bit more coming up next week. Before we get to a big announcement we're about to make, I want to make one more observation. You know what my biggest observation was? First time I've been downtown in a while.
Yeah.
And that ramp being down.
Oh, yeah.
The freeway.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the first time being downtown in a while, huh?
Well, to see it, the destruction of it cleaned up a little bit.
I got you.
It was like somebody opened a window downtown.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I said this on Twitter. I don't know where this stands. I don't know the politics of it. I don't know if people were for it, against it. I've had some feedback today about, like, now Lot K, you can't tailgate down there. That was a nice shade. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this. From an aesthetic point of view, it was a good vision to knock it down because it's a game changer the way it looks down there. It looks, and you can now start to visualize things like, oh, okay, I can see what they may be trying to do here in Jacksonville down the road.
Yeah, I mean, I went past it probably a couple of days ago. I saw it downtown, and it definitely looks different. You know, I mean, I've been here for 6 years off and on now, and spent a lot of time at Met Park and obviously at that stadium. So it's a little different. Takes a little time to get used to, and like you said, it's opened things up a little bit. Now comes, what do you do with that scenario? We'll see.
We'll see what they do with that. Absolutely. Hey, coming up on Monday, we've got a brand new ESPN lineup happening. You've probably heard it being promoted. We've had Mike Greenberg on. We've had some of the folks on that will be doing shows, including Max Kellerman as well. And that happens on Monday, this coming Monday, right here on ESPN 690 in Jacksonville and across into southeast Georgia and all the way down into the Daytona area as well, because that's where the signal hits here on ESPN 690. But it'll be Jay Williams, Zubin Mehenti, and Keyshawn Johnson, 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. Levitard and Stugatz still on from 10 to noon. And then it's Mike Greenberg from noon to 2. And Max Kellerman will lead right into our show from 3 until 6. Action Sports Jack's not changing. It's not going anywhere. We have survived the cut. That's a big story.
We have survived the purge, Brent.
That's the first cut I've ever
we are
made.
purge proof.
We did.
Yeah.
So we made it. We're 3 to 6 still on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. But time to make a little bit of an announcement, because following our show Monday through Fridays will be a new show.
This wasn't in the email.
It was in my email.
Was it in my email today? Okay. Well, hit me with it.
Sometimes I know things you don't.
Wasn't in the email today, but okay. Go on. Didn't discuss this at all, but let's hear it.
Let's bring in Nick Grinowitz right now from down in Orlando. He goes by Nicky Football. Him and Jerry Daniels will debut their show coming up soon, live, local, loud, right here in Jacksonville. Now, I say debut the show. They've been doing the show down in Orlando on our ESPN affiliate. They're going to be doing it in Jacksonville as well from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. And 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. will be a Jacksonville-only hour. So we've got some expansion.
I like it.
Here at ESPN 690. Nicky, what's happening, man?
Not much, guys. I appreciate you having me on. We're really excited to be coming to Jacksonville starting on Monday as part of that new lineup, and really excited to be working with you guys and everyone there at ESPN 690.
We're excited for you, and we're excited you didn't bump us out of the lineup, quite frankly.
Yeah, in the contract discussion, we were trying to shoot for that 5 p.m. slot, but they no go at all. They said Brett and Austin have to stay, so we decided to take 6 to 9.
See, Brent, we have some cachet around here. Feels good.
That might be that wasn't a ratings check or a dollars check. That was Austin 6'6", 245.
Yes. I think we don't have anyone that size on the show, so we weren't going to cage fight it out there for the 5 p.m. hour.
Live, local, and loud, weeknights 6 to 9 p.m. right here on ESPN 690. And again, 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. will be a Jacksonville-only hour. You guys have been doing this show for a while now. Tell us a little bit about the history of it with you and Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry and I have been doing the show for just about 4+ years now. We're in our 5th year working together. We started in 2016, and we right here on our ESPN affiliate down in Orlando. And what you're going to get from us is you're going to get a lot of sports talk. You're going to get a lot of comedy, a lot of back and forth between the two of us, and a lot of lifestyle stuff. Jerry's a big movie guy, big music guy, so there's going to be a lot of lifestyle and just kind of fun as well. So we're hoping to bring some good sports talk and just some kind of laid back life stuff as well throughout the 3 hours on the show.
Hey, Brent, you hear about that? They actually talk music on their show.
Yeah,
crazy.
Maybe you could be a guest.
I would love. Yeah, go on. I'm gonna go ahead and send you my email information quick, and maybe we can get you on me. Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Or maybe my resume. I'm just kidding, Brent. I'm kidding, man.
No problem. Nicky Football. I can do the show by myself. Nicky Football and Jerry Daniels, live, local, loud. It will be starting Monday, 6 to 9 p.m. and 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. This is unique. We've worked this out, and you guys have too. It'll be a Jacksonville-only hour. Tell us about your approach to that.
Sure, yeah. We're going to bring you the latest, of course, news and sports talk, what's going on in Jacksonville. Jerry has very close connections with the Jacksonville community. He was part of the ownership group that actually brought the Jacksonville Icemen to Jacksonville. So you're getting someone that loves the community there, loves the local businesses, loves the local sports, and Jerry is very excited about that. And I'm a big Jags fan. I'm a big Jumbo Shrimp fan. So we're going to be talking about, of course, what's going on with the Jags, as you guys got a chance to go to practice today. But we're going to try to bring you all of the, the flavor is what's going on during that 6 to 7 hour. And then from 7 to 9, you're going to get, more national, more Central Florida and Jacksonville news as well. We're not going to forget about you guys from 7 to 9 either, but 6 to 7 is going to be a real Jacksonville hour for us, and we're looking forward to that.
Well, here's the deal. I love the idea of it because here on our show with the video platforms and also just the huge signal we have on ESPN 690, one of the biggest and a legendary signal in the Southeast. I've thought, and we've thought at times, it's a Jacksonville heavy show, of course. We love it here in the River City. But it also can at times have a regional feel to it because we stretch all the way into South Carolina on a good day and all the way down through Daytona and Melbourne. So I kind of like picking up some of the Orlando angles. So give us a little bit. Where do you stand on the magic of the NBA? Orlando City, by the way, soccer just made an incredible run. Couldn't finish it off. But tell us a little bit about the Orlando sports scene right now.
Yeah, right now you have two teams that are headed in two completely different directions. The Orlando Magic started 2-0 inside of the bubble. Then Jonathan Isaac gets injured, and they've lost 5 straight games since then. So the Magic are kind of hurting right now. They're hoping to just kind of get into the playoffs and maybe make some noise against Milwaukee. You're trying to get everyone healthy for that, too. Aaron Gordon and Evan Fournier are out, and Terrence Ross left the bubble, and, you've got, Jonathan Isaac out for the rest of the season and what will most likely be a majority of next season with the knee injury. But so the Magic right now are kind of at a crossroads in their rebuild 3.0, 4.0, whatever that might be, 3.0, 4.0, wherever they are. In Orlando City, we're hitting Orlando City right now in their best run in 2+ years. They have not gone this long prior to losing last night without losing in over 2 years. And what they put together in the MLS's back cup, losing to Portland last night, though, it stings. You have a hard time being that upset after they had some of the longest odds in Vegas to make the final and win the whole thing. So to make it into the Final Four in that final game, and give up the go-ahead goal to Portland in the 67th minute, it still feels like just a huge success for Orlando City, which had kind of hit a pole with the fan base here, and now maybe people are going to get a little bit more excited.
If you're keeping score at home, we've been really sharing some positive news as of late here on ESPN 690. 1, we survived past 18 months.
Yep.
2, Florida State Seminoles, you're home for the Noles. Football and basketball right here on ESPN 690. And now our newest edition, backing up our show from 3 to 6, is Action Sports Jackson, now from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m., live, local, and loud with Nick Grinowitz and Jerry Daniels. Nicky Football is what he goes by, and he's joined us right now on ESPN 690. This will start Monday, part of the new ESPN lineup across the board. Starts on August 17th. Nick, what about football? What are your thoughts on it? Do we get to an NFL season, and is it going to be ACC, Big 12, and SEC playing ball, or will they sooner or later go the way of the Pac-12 and Big 10?
I hope we get a college football season. I was going to ask you that, actually, after you mentioned the Florida State news, because I think everyone is looking at this just hoping. The college football season is teetering right now. Right now, you've got 60% of the Power 5 that are set to play. What I want to know is how you have 3 conferences that say, hey, we're good, we're moving forward, and 2 conferences that are saying, hey, this is too bleak. Is it different information, or is this just all about the optics? And I think it is more about optics and more about liability with the Big 10 and the Pac-12 than it is with the Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC. I do believe that if the Big 12 had decided this morning that they were going to shut it down, that you would have seen the ACC and the SEC just crumble the pressure. But now that you have 3/5 playing, hopefully they get a season. As for the NFL, I think they're going to play. They're professionals. The NFL announced today in terms of Tier 1 and Tier 2 COVID tests, it was less than a 1% positive rate. I don't see how they don't move forward with the season with those kind of numbers. And, even you heard Jim Harbaugh and Ryan Day talking about the positive tests. I'm one of the people that believes that the college athletes and students are safer with their programs practicing and playing a season, they are going back home potentially. So it surprised me when the Big Ten and the Pac-12 decided not to go. But I think we'll see the SEC at the very least try to play some games, and I think we'll get an NFL season.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is that the college football scene in the Power 5 could easily become a game of Survivor where you just build alliances. And right now, doesn't it? Austin looks like Pac-12 and Big Ten have one alliance, and they're saying no go. Yeah. And I think Nick is right here, where if maybe Big 12 or SEC or one of the shoes dropped, maybe they all would have said, okay, we're all in line. But they are all in line. Those three, they're going to play.
Well, and it's kind of a reflection right now of how our country is operating, right? I mean, we're not going to get really political on this show, but let's be honest here. There's certain areas that think that COVID-19, not that serious. Other areas think that it should be taken very seriously. And one could point to college football right now where different conferences think different things. And Brent, to kind of echo what you said yesterday a little bit, it doesn't matter who's first in the pool or who's last in the pool. What matters is if you're right or wrong. And only time is going to tell right now if it was the right thing to do to opt out of the fall season and wait till the spring, or if it was the right thing to do to keep on going right now and play in that fall season.
Time to get out of the pool. It's adult swim time. Nicky football, Jerry Daniels. Looking forward to it, man. Live, local, loud. Starting up Monday night, 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. Weeknights here on ESPN 690. Good to have you guys on board. Good luck with the show.
Well, we're looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys having me on, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, that's Nick Grinowitz down in Orlando, Nicky Football and Jerry Daniels. Join them 6 to 7, by the way, a Jacksonville-only hour, 7 to 9. We'll include Orlando as well. So looking forward to this as part of our local lineup, if you will, here on ESPN 690. It'll be an interesting week next week. It'll be a different sound when you tune into ESPN 690 all day long with the new lineup ESPN on the national side is putting out.
Except us, Brent. We're staying the same, man.
Hey, it's amazing how quickly you get seniority around here.
Exactly, man. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Even Kuz has lasted as long as...
Little surprising, huh?
Yeah.
Did you put a good word in for him?
Hasn't jumped ship yet.
Well, same thing to you, Mr. California. Go out to Barstool to see what they're doing over there, man. Yeah.
That didn't work out. They hired Dion instead.
I saw that, man. It's not bad company to be a part of, Brent.
I don't know. I don't know.
No comment.
Hey, when we get back, a little more football talk. Of course, and we'll put a bow on a show that just included another cool announcement. Live, local, loud, coming to Jacksonville, Florida, and ESPN 690 starting next Monday.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Afternoon and early evening, heavy storms again, highs in the low 90s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing.
These days, more and more women are asking for fancy-shaped diamonds. Ovals, princess cuts, cushion cuts, ashers, marquise, heart-shaped, pear-shaped, emerald cuts. All very popular this year. And no one has more of these special shapes than Diamonds Direct. In fact, we've just increased our selection of these beautiful stones with sizes ranging from a ½ carat up to 10 carats. And while other jewelers will try to tell you these fancy shapes cost more, the fact is, as you'll learn at Diamonds Direct, fancy shaped diamonds should always cost up to 20% less than the same size round diamond. Plus, in many cases, a fancy shaped diamond will have a larger face and appear bigger than a round diamond with the same carat weight. So, with a fancy shaped diamond, you can get a bigger look for a lower price and have a diamond that stands out from the crowd. Come to Diamonds Direct and get the facts about fancy shaped diamonds, see the largest selection, and get the guaranteed best price. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
There's a new modern patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available
medicine there is. Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care and patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge. We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
Come to the grand opening of Q Delicia, the best Mexican-American sports bar in town. Enjoy ice-cold beer, $10 sangria pitchers, along with the best quesadillas and fajitas in town while watching the game. If you can't go, at least you can watch. But don't be surprised if you hear, "Goal!" You can watch football, NFL, NBA, MLB, boxing, UFC, and more on multiple HD TVs. Visit Q Delicia for the grand opening on 3980 Southside Boulevard today. Q Delicia, the Mexican-American sports bar you never knew you needed. Call 904-253-3477.
This following message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and its radio station.
This is Max Mayfield, former director of the National Hurricane Center. This hurricane season, you need to update your family preparedness plan so it includes COVID-19 preparations. So when a storm threatens, be ready to prepare your home and have your family hurricane kit ready. Include supplies for your pets and enough COVID-19 sanitizers, disinfectant wipes, and masks. Know your zone, know your home. For more information, go to floridastorms.org.
HBI, a national leader for career training in the building industry, is providing training, certification, and placement in the construction industry for veterans, their spouses, and children that are over the age of 18 at no cost. The following 2020 class dates are being offered: August 10th, September 14th, October 19th, and November 16th. For more program and class details, please call Joe Jones at 407-717-7609 or visit the website at hbi.org. That's hbi.org.
You ready for some good news? No, make that great news. You know that new Toyota you've been wanting? It's as good as yours thanks to the huge savings going on now at Arlington Toyota. Every new Toyota Arlington's got is on sale. In fact, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. Want to drive away in a new Toyota with no payments? Right now at Arlington, you can. Get no payments for 90 days on your new Toyota purchase. Every single day at Arlington, you're going to have over 750 new and quality pre-owned to choose from on the lot, ready for you to drive home today. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a nationwide lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. But wait, there's more. It's time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington. Wait no more. Now's the time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August savings for full details.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
Mortgage rates are at historic all-time lows. There's no better time. Duval! Purchase your first home or refinance with Crossview Mortgage. At Crossview, they have a proven track record with VA loans and helping people even when the big banks can't. Get pre-qualified. Do your application by phone in minutes. Let them help you save thousands. Call Crossview Mortgage, 325-9008. That's 325-9008. CrossviewMortgage.com. NMLS number 1377291.
Is your business losing sales from the current pandemic? Are you trying to remain in touch with important clients? If you're struggling with questions like this, you're not alone. Many small businesses are currently in a severe crisis and need immediate assistance. As the nation's premier organization supporting small businesses, SCORE offers webinars on a variety of topics that can help you manage through this crisis. Click on the Take a Workshop tab at jacksonville.score.org and register today.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. I don't know about you, but I just want to get in the car and drive somewhere. Windows down, radio playing, exploring some two-lane back roads. It's like a mini vacation. So I say, get in your new Chevy and go. Huh? You don't have a new Chevy? Well, we can fix that, like a new Equinox. Right now, the factory says take 15% off, but we can do up to 5 better. That's right, up to 20% off, or choose a discount and 0% for up to 84 months. Only at Gordon Chevy in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Time for more summer savings.
No other jeweler in North Florida can beat Beard's Diamonds. And now with their 5-year zero-interest financing, you can go even bigger.
Save on everything. Rings, earrings, bracelets, pendants, wedding bands, all designer jewelry, all colored gemstone pieces, and all diamonds. 5 years, zero interest, and no money down.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Come in. See the difference. Save thousands.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent. With help from Family Support Services of North Florida, you provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
What happens? Anybody can tell you what happened. What does it mean? Less people can do that. But we're going to focus on what happens next.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin, coming August 17th to the all-new ESPN Radio.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Being from the South, like Leonard's a legend, dude. Because he's been like the 5-star #1 player in the country since like he's in 8th, 9th grade. So everybody knew Leonard like basically forever. And to be on his team was really cool. He comes in, he handles his business well, does his job, and he's been great this camp. Been a great teammate, and looking forward to him doing the same this year.
That is Gardner Minshew, the legend of Leonard Fournette.
Yep.
He's not wrong. People knew about Leonard Fournette when he was in like 8th grade.
Yep.
On the Pop Warner fields.
I keep saying it, Brent. When you get put in a Lil Wayne song, I think when you're in high school, you've made it.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Mm-hmm. Leonard and I have that in common.
You're in a Lil Wayne song. Do you care to share the track so I can check this out? Now we're doing music talk again. Look at us go.
Here we go.
Do you have the song title I can check that out with, Brent?
On the fly-in.
Sure. That was it.
Nailed it.
Whatever you just said. Hey, did you watch Hard Knocks?
I got one thing to say, Brent. Yes, I watched Hard Knocks, obviously. Love Hard Knocks. Because to me, it shows the psychology of NFL, which I'm so into. It shows players' personalities, and it shows coaches' personalities. I took one thing away from Hard Knocks last night. there should be a giant red flag right now around Sean McVay because that guy's crumbling. Do you know how I could tell? And I'm not lying, man. If I'm in Vegas right now and I'm taking the over/under of the Rams this season, under all day. If I'm a Jaguars fan right now, I'm enjoying the fact that, you know what, we're probably going to get a pretty high draft pick off that Rams Jalen Ramsey trade.
Oh, because of that over-the-shoulder shot of down on the overlooking the city?
It's got something to do with it, but not entirely. Okay. Yeah, you're on the right track, though. You're warm. So Cliff Kingsbury, right? Cliff Kingsbury comes, same division, Arizona Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury had his run at Texas Tech, had Patrick Mahomes, didn't win a lot. It is what it is. Gets ready to go to USC, and what happens, Brent? For whatever reason, he's young, he's hip, he knows offense. The Arizona Cardinals give him a chance. Much to the chagrin of Sean McVay, who at the time was the young, hot, fresh kind of coach, right? Everyone was talking about Sean McVay. If you shook Sean McVay's hand, boom, you got a front office job. If you know Sean McVay's family, boom, front office job. John Bachman, we've had him on the show how many times? How many times has John Bachman talked about Sean McVay? And I'm not sure if they're related. I'm not sure if they have a timeshare together. Whatever the reason is, John Bachman, big Sean McVay guy. So Sean McVay had it, like he was the talk of the town. Enter Cliff Kingsbury. Now, let's fast forward a little bit. Let's go back to the draft real quick, Brent, right? Let's talk about the draft where, with the pandemic, every coach is at home. And we saw the Kingsbury home. We saw the fireplace in the background in the middle of Phoenix, Arizona, wherever he's living, Scottsdale. In the middle of spring, had to be at least 95 degrees, and that fireplace is blaring. And the house is on display, and we all said, man, Kingsbury's the dude. I'm jealous. Well, this got to Sean McVay. All right, and this crushed Sean McVay. Do you know why? Yes, we saw that. Yes, last night we saw Sean McVay drinking champagne or wine with his aesthetically pleasing wife, okay, or fiance. Congratulations to that. But the part that no one's talking about is after we saw that scenic view in the Valley of California, and after we saw, once again, another fireplace in the middle of the valley in August or July, in the middle of summer, just blaring. Got that Brent Martineau money. Congratulations. After that, though, what happens next? He goes to his dog, and he says, you want to play some basketball? Okay, this is a cute moment. He's going to play basketball with the dog. Jump cut to Sean McVay in the pool with his shirt off flexing. And that means to tell me right now where Sean McVay saw Kingsbury, he's like, all right, Kingsbury, you want to play? You want to show off your house? You want to show off your fireplace outside in the middle of, in the summertime of Arizona? Check this out, man. I haven't ate a carb in 2 months. Check me out right now, man. Let me go ahead and flex my stuff on Hard Knocks. And that whole thing was set up, and I'm telling you right now, it's Sean McVay's idea. What other coach is going to hop in the pool for no apparent reason as to, quote-unquote, play basketball with his dog? There's no way, man.
Not Bill Belichick.
Not Bill Belichick. That was a flex directed at Kingsbury, and it goes to show me right now, Brent, that the Arizona Cardinals, and more importantly, Cliff Kingsbury, are living rent-free right now in Sean McVay's head.
It's a wild around-the-block way to get to look out, Rams. You might be giving the Jags a top 5 pick.
You're supposed to be focusing on their offense right now and how you're going to be with Jared Goff. In the meantime, you're worried about trying to show off your physique a little bit and try to one-up Cliff Kingsbury. Red flags, Brent. Red flags all over the place.
McVay's a fun guy, though.
Oh, yeah.
Fun listening to him. You mentioned Gruden. We were talking Grudens earlier. I mean, he is fun listen.
Yep.
The energy is obviously palpable and seems like he's just got a great rapport with the players. And he's such a young guy. That's a very important thing. I mean, to get the respect of the players. But it looks that way. I mean, there's a lot of edits in there, too.
Yeah.
So I thought, by the way, I'm not a huge Hard Knocks. Like, I'm not like, oh, my gosh, Hard Knocks is on. I haven't been that way.
Yeah.
Over the years. It's a great show. It's cool inside look, and it's well done. I think in the last couple of years, I remember saying it's getting kind of stale.
Oh, I agree. Last year with the Raiders.
Storylines are the same.
Yeah.
It's, one or two things are fun. I mean, you almost have to get them swearing or doing something like that to actually pique my interest.
Sure.
Sure. And so I thought this was fantastic. And unfortunately, you got to credit a pandemic for it. Yeah. The inside look at how they were handling COVID-19. And we've seen some things come out of Jags headquarters, and they've shared some video, and we saw it a little bit up close today. But I just thought the whole thing, the the narrative and the theme of that first episode being that from Anthony Lynn to how the Rams were dealing with it and utilizing it. Just the presentation of it, really, of Hard Knocks, where usually you have all these cameras and microphones, and how many times did they have to cut to a Zoom call?
Yeah.
Even to edit the show.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a refreshing episode because of the pandemic. We'll see if it continues that way. Also, I think the two teams is kind of a cool thing.
I think it's awesome.
The bouncing back and forth and but totally different personalities.
And that's
Anthony
the great
Lynn
thing.
And McVay.
And that's the great thing because I think they're both great coaches. Don't get me wrong. I've never met Anthony Lynn or Sean McVay, but I love Anthony Lynn because he seems like the cool uncle. He seems like kind of like the granddad, where it's like, the opening scene of Hard Knocks was him, logging on first time to that Zoom. He's talking to his players, and all his players are reciprocating. Hey, what's up, coach? What's up, coach? Like, he just kind of has that grandfather vibe to him. I'm not sure what it is. And by the way, how many Porsche hats do you own, Anthony Lynn? You notice that? Guy's sponsored by Porsche. He had like 3 different Porsche hats.
I didn't notice that. Okay, well, I will next time.
It's in my notes here.
It's in my notes.
Yeah, I was taking notes.
Notes on Hard Knocks about the Porsche hats as Anthony Lynn.
Yeah.
This guy goes deep.
Oh, dude, I love this show, man. I can't get enough of this show. So I thought it was great. But then you mentioned Sean McVay, like 2 completely different personalities. But obviously, and at least I came away from episode 1, 2 coaches that look like they'd be fun to play for different reasons.
I think likable guys, no doubt about it. Likable coaches and big years for both, really, with all the talent on those teams. All right, the flip side of it, outside of the Hard Knocks part, Jalen being Jalen, man.
Yeah, man.
How cool, how just tremendous was that? We were watching, like Steph was watching it too, like it's just so Jalen. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I tweeted it last night and I meant it. I did it. I said it again this morning out there to some folks. I miss Jalen. I think I'm going to miss Jalen. I think I said it when he left.
Yeah.
Like, I've been honest with this. For our job, Jalen is a fun character, and you don't get many like it. Mm-hmm. So you can wish him away, and he's a pain in the ass and all this stuff if you want to say it. But he's a fun character. And let's be honest. This season isn't supposed to be fun in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. So when you can have a character a la Minshew in a different kind of way, sometimes Fournette.
Yeah.
Speak to me, somebody else. Like Josh Allen's a great player, but is he a character? Probably not. Mm-hmm. And there's something to be said for that, too.
Sure.
But from our standpoint, I mean, we lost a major character covering the Jaguars, and we saw it on display in L.A.
You lost a major ratings booster, let's call it. I mean, character, ratings booster. I mean, obviously, he was trending for a while on Twitter because, exactly. And you know what the best part of that episode was with Jalen Ramsey? And it goes to show you just how much people aren't really paying attention to what's happening in Jacksonville. And keep in mind, if you haven't seen the episode, I'll quick kind of explain it to you guys a little bit, where they asked him about his contract. Obviously, a question that Jalen Ramsey's probably heard ad nauseum now since he got to L.A. Asked him about his contract, rubbed Jalen Ramsey the wrong way. He retaliated for a couple seconds and then walked out of the interview. Walked out. And keep in mind, this is a Zoom interview, right? So he didn't just get a press conference and walk away. He got up from his chair at the Zoom interview and walked away.
And honestly, he wasn't even pressed that hard on it, at least the part we saw.
Exactly. The best part, though, and I was laughing out loud at this, is if you watch the media members' reactions to when he left, and it's like, is he serious? Is this it? Like, he's done?
Yeah.
Because, they didn't know how to act.
They're kind of laughing at it.
Meanwhile, Brent, this isn't your first rodeo. You saw this coming. It's like, oh, Jalen being Jalen again. Like, a lot of those media members who apparently don't know how Jalen operates saw him walk away and were just flabbergasted and are like, well, now what? And then obviously the PR team had to beg Jalen to come back in. But, it was their
Amazingly, they got him to come back in.
I couldn't believe that either, right? But I just couldn't believe just the look of just shock and awe of these media members who just this guy just seriously get up and leave? Have you not been following the Jaguars media and Jalen Ramsey? Have you not been following the Brett Martineau Chronicles of getting blocked on Twitter? It's nothing new to us here in Jacksonville.
I thought it was sensational again. And I know people probably took it tongue-in-cheek when I said I miss Jalen. I'm serious. I think we will. I think we do. I think and by the way, he's like a football player. Mm-hmm. Kind of a bad stash going on, though, on that thing.
Is that how you feel about it?
Do you like it?
It's something, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't know if he's trying to go for something or not. I don't know if the quarantine had something to do with it, but I agree with you. It's different. I'm not on board quite yet. Let's see if it evolves to something else.
How about the storyline, too? Like, Hard Knocks did a great job of this in this sense. They make him part of the story, which is good because you're going to always, if you want to have something with Jalen, you're probably going to have something with Jalen. And the contract thing is a storyline. Mm-hmm. And then they juxtaposition that right to Bosa. I mean, like you talk about
exactly what they're doing, Brett.
Oh yeah,
come on.
You talk about you couldn't get McVay and Lynn any different. Well, then all of a sudden you get to a table where Joey Bosa is just rolling in the money,
signing a $100 million contract,
and crying over it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a tremendous irony right there. Great television in that sense, and it also does beg the question. That is the same draft. Bosa's got all this money.
Yeah.
What are they waiting for? Ramsey still hasn't got money. I mean, does he have a beef? Ezekiel Elliott got paid. Mm-hmm. Bosa got paid. Goff got paid. Wentz got paid.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey hadn't got paid.
Especially for how much they sacrificed to get him over there. Like, when you give up 2 first-round picks like that, Brent, you're pot committed regardless. You're in it for the long haul. So, yeah, I mean, listen, and Jalen Ramsey can sit there on that Zoom interview and say he doesn't care about it. Come on, man. Come on now. Jalen, you care. And it's okay. I mean, I thought he had a great answer, and I thought it was the professional answer. You know, I mean, maybe getting up and walking out wasn't the most professional thing, but I like the way he addressed it. And like, hey, this is the answer I'm giving you guys. You may not have to like it, but this is the answer I'm giving you. I like that point of it, but you got to care. You have to care because I talk about it all the time on the show, Brent. You see what your peers are up to, and you always watch how they're doing. Well, right now, Joey Bosa, doing pretty good. Ezekiel Elliott, doing pretty good. Jalen Ramsey wants to be doing good, too.
Yeah, by the way, this in from Ian Rappaport, Timmy Jernigan visited the Jaguars, so he's a free agent, defensive tackle. Wouldn't be a bad sign. That'd be a nice little signing.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Lake City, Columbia, by the way, but he's been productive.
Sure.
We think the physical went bad. I think that was a story with Houston. I think he had signed with Houston, and kind of the same as Darquez Denard with the Jags. It just fizzled out, partly because mostly because of the pandemic, we believe. And so now Jernigan in Jacksonville to visit, according to Rappaport. They need depth.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a bad little signing.
I'm not mad at that at all. I mean,
listen, if you're not signed right now, you're not signed for a reason.
Sure.
But.
Well, and you're not going to bring him in to be an all-pro or a perennial Pro Bowl. You're bringing him in for depth. And I think for depth purposes, Timmy Jernigan's definitely the guy you want to bring in.
Hey, how about this? A couple other sports notes. 5 overtimes in the Lightning game last night. That game started when our show started yesterday, and it didn't end until after 9 o'clock.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy when you can go. I was watching it on the show when I wasn't watching it. I was talking to you, obviously. But I was glancing at
a couple moments.
At the hockey game, exactly. Go train for 2 hours, get home, take a shower, eat dinner, turn on the TV, and they're still playing. Insane, man.
That's wild.
Wow. And they're eating pizza at halftime to try to keep their calorie intake up and everything. Eating pizza at halftime.
85 saves.
How insane is that?
That is nuts.
I know, man.
Had the stats. Giannis headbutt suspended for the final game. Doesn't matter. But
not worried about it. Hey, you know what, though?
Headbutt Giannis. He's a nice guy.
Good. Hey, you know what? I like the intensity, Brent. Playoffs are starting pretty soon. # immigrant mentality.
No, Drive and Dish podcast.
What?
Dame Lillard. 3 times over 60. Did you know only Wilt Chamberlain has done that?
Was not aware of that Dame time.
Done it like 15 or something.
No, in the same season. Only 2 players now to do it is Wilt and Dame Lillard.
Listen, biggest thing you could have made with Dame Lillard is you called him out. You know, obviously he lost that game. Patrick Beverley got in his face. You unleash the beast now. Good luck with that.
Hey, how many push-ups could you do in 3 minutes?
I don't know. Why? How many can you do?
I pushed to the test today. Did 75.
In 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
I need to see a video of this.
Well, Steph and the kids right there, they said I can only do 45 or 50. Hey, I did it 75.
Ty
did 83.
Are they real push-ups? I know Ty's an animal. Did you really? Are they real push-ups, though?
They said they were.
Hey, Sean McVay, go in your pool and take your shirt off and see what happens.
I want to see how many you can do. Kuz, what's your homework assignment? How many push-ups can you do in 3 minutes? That's for tomorrow.
All right. Well, I got training tonight.
Okay. First and 10 training camp tonight, 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30, our first show. Yeah, football's here. Thanks for hanging with us on ESPN 690. Hey, everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. The Jags have 2 opt-outs. How big are these losses, in your opinion?
Laurenti McCray is different to me. This is a guy who's going on his 7th season here in the NFL. If you have the honor to wear the C in that locker room, it means that you're a leader. You have some sort of influence on that team.
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
With COVID-19, more local families than ever need food. Our seniors require extra support, and kids stuck at home could use something to smile about. A gift in any amount will make a big difference, especially when you give through Jewish Family and Community Services. Thanks to the Max Block Food Pantry Matching Challenge, your donation will automatically double. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for hunger, here for Jax. Learn more at hereforjax.com.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Mortgage rates are at historic all-time lows. There's no better time. Duval! Purchase your first home or refinance with Crossview Mortgage. At Crossview, they have a proven track record with VA loans and helping people even when the big banks can't. Get pre-qualified. Do your application by phone in minutes. Let them help you save thousands. Call Crossview Mortgage, 325-9008. That's 325-9008. CrossviewMortgage.com. NMLS number 1377291.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rubinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and